All right, guys. So this is not the Chris Speaks message that you're used to. This is actually going to be a teaching. This won't be anything that's super quick, in and out, love you much, and then go. No, this ain't the womb, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. This is something that is going to be opening your eyes. And this was impressed on me from the heart of God to be able to reveal this type of truth to you within these perilous times that we're about to be facing. There are some of you who just are engulfed in things, can't see, can't spiritually see, are blinded. And I want you to be able to see truth. God wants you to be able to recognize the plots and the schemes of the devil that is right before you. So we're going to hop right in with the title. The title says, "Don't get shot for your spot. Those who are asleep will be hunted, and those who are woke will be harvesting." So it's a season of hunting and a season of harvest as well. And I want you to keep it right there in your mind to understand that. There's so many things that's happening that you are unaware of, and there is a war that's happening between the kingdom of light and darkness. So instead of setting a New Year resolution at the dawn of a new year, right now, we need to stick to where we are before this year ends and get the revelation from God. Revelation from God is of extreme importance in this hour. Just so you know, this message is meant to help you to make sense of the things that have not just been taking place this year, but over the course of the last few years. The information that I do give is going to be heavy. May have to stop and get a little sip of water for myself, but it's going to be some heavy information. And as Matthew 11:5 says, "He who has ears, let him hear." And what we want to be able to do is hear in this hour. We're going to pick up from Halloween, and you're going to be able to see the entire PowerPoint kind of go through so you can be able to see this. There was a great deal of mask-related costumes that's being pushed. So you saw things like with Freddy, Jason, Chucky, the clown from It, etc. You saw all of these things that were going down, and you're like probably wondering, why all the people wearing the same costumes this year? And it's because there was an agenda that was being pushed. It's to raise spirits, especially spirits from the dead, and also to evoke fear upon the people from the dark world. That's why the stores were stocked accordingly. Fear is an enemy to faith, and those who do not have faith will not survive these last and evil days. So when you talk about putting on the full armor of God and picking up the shield of faith, that's of extreme importance, because there are some things that's going to come out of here, and it'll be everything but funny. It will be everything but funny to you, and you'll feel it in your chest. So we're going to hop back into the message of don't get shot for your spot. Now, many of you all saw some of your favorite celebrities, maybe even you dressed as Cruella De Vil, this Halloween season. So what we want to do is break down and look at this. You all see the visual, Cruella De Vil. What is Cruella De Vil broken down into? Cruella De Vil is a cruel devil, okay? Cruella's a witch. She's a devil woman, and she's also coined as the Queen of Mean. In other words, she's a Disney character version of Queen Jezebel, who is noted as the most wicked woman in the Bible. So she is also one who performs pagan worship. She's influenced the people of God to serve other gods. She appointed over 400 prophets of Baal to push her agenda. Now they influence each and every one of you all to participate in pagan worship, as I once was an active participant in. So that's via the holidays such as Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. And I'll be the first to let you know that I've been involved in all of those things. So this is no condemnation. But when you get a revelation from God, you cannot persist in the kingdom of darkness and think God's going to give you a pass or a pat on the back. It's not going to happen, people. Some of your churches are involved with Christmas. Now, most saints will say, I don't do that pagan worship with no Halloween, but you're involved in Christmas. And Christmas is not at the basis about Christ. No, it's not. It's masked. There's a masquerading spirit behind the mask and the title of Christmas. Something is a demonic force behind that, but you don't really understand that. No different than with Easter. Easter, do you really know the origin from that? That comes from the goddess Esther and all of these other things that's going on, and you don't know in the churches, and we're actively participating in it. But to its core, it's satanic. So these are the things that we need to be aware of. And like I said, no condemnation. I was one who was an active participant. But when you get revelation, you have to move accordingly, people, because you will be judged accordingly when you don't move. Whether you participate knowingly or unknowingly, you still will be at fault. So we're going to get back to Cruella. Simultaneously, Cruella is a British fashion mogul who kidnaps and slaughters unique puppies for their dark spots to make high fashion mink cloaks. She drives her luxurious car manically, just how Satan is driving people out of control today who seek to possess your spot. Some may say, you know, Chris, that's just a character. You're doing too much. It's really not that deep. And that's exactly what Satan wants you to believe. Make you believe that something that is poisonous is actually good for you so that you can co-conspire with him on your own death. I don't want to be doing that. Some of the deadliest poisons are actually tasteless and odorless. Just keep that in mind. You cannot take anything lightly nowadays because there is an agenda to take people out by the boatload. They are trying to mass assassinate these people, and we will be a part of it if we are not a part of the army of God. People love screaming conspiracy because they refuse to accept prophecy. And prophecy, if you look in the Bible, most of this stuff is written. Most of this stuff is written, but we just stay blinded by tradition, going to church. What are you going to church for if you don't have any revelation? What are you going and participating in all these activities for if you have no revelation of what God is really saying to the church? Again, those who have ears, let him hear. Satan is here for your soul, and he's going to get you to bow to him one way or another. And that's either through the news. You see a lot of people, they have, especially people who quote unquote love God, they will sit, watch political debates all day long. Move from by my TV. My show coming on at this time. And yes, you sit and watch politics, and it takes your mind and it takes your spirit to a different zone, and you don't realize you have co-conspired with these people in your own mind control and predictive programming. And this comes in the form of news, TV sitcoms, characters, and movies. So we're going to get back to this breakdown. It's not for you to be entertained by this stuff. They're trying to predictive program, okay? A theory called predictive programming, meaning like when you see something 1, 2, 6, 7 times, now you become softened subconsciously to that idea, to bloodshed, to stuff that you've seen with your eyes, but your mind didn't process it, but nonetheless you were exposed to it. That's the concept of predictive programming. They want you to see what they're about to do to you. And they subtly do this so that you don't catch on. Nonetheless, you saw it happen before your eyes. The elites are after the elect's crown. There are 2 nations at war, and this is shown to us biblically, as well as through the imagery portrayed through popular characters, movies, worldwide events, and also in the media. So let's talk about the kingdom of light versus darkness, the kingdom of light versus darkness. So we saw that with Jacob and Esau, and these are twin brothers. So you all probably know the story. Isaac is married to Rebekah. He prays to the Lord to give his wife a child. Rebekah does get pregnant. And then while she's pregnant, the babies begin to fight in her womb. She then goes and, to God and say, why is this happening to me? Lord, why is this stuff happening to me? And then Genesis tells the perfect story about it. Genesis 25 and 23, in which you can see that on your screen now. It says, the Lord said to her, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples from within you will be separated. One people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger. When the time came for her to give birth, there were twin boys in her womb. The first to come out was red, and his whole body was like a hairy garment. So they named him Esau. After this, his brother came out, with his hand grasping Esau's heel. So he was named Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when Rebekah gave birth to them. The boys grew up, and Esau became a skillful hunter. You want to keep that in mind. Esau became a hunter, a man of the open country, while Jacob was content to stay at home among the tents. Isaac, who had a taste for wild game, loved Esau, but Rebekah loved Jacob. So right there, we can see that Isaac loved Esau because of his preference. You see that favoritism sometimes comes into play because of our personal preferences, while at the same time, Rebekah loved Jacob, not because she had a personal preference, but because God had already loved Jacob first. He had already gave a promise, and Rebekah was willing to stick beside the promise. She was like, okay, God, you gave me a promise from the womb, and I'm going to stick beside it. And she was real on that, and that's why she did what she did. She understood the assignment, okay? Rebekah did understand the assignment. So we see in Malachi 1, 2 through 4, in Romans 9, which talks about how God did love Jacob and hated Esau, pretty much cursed Esau and his descendants, which are the Edomites. But On the other hand, he did bless Jacob and his descendants, which are the children of Israel. That's the chosen nation of God. They want your spot because you've already been blessed from your birth. And I want you to really understand that there are so many people, when you see these mimicking spirits and everything like that, this is a part of a greater agenda of Satan. People want your spot. This is real, y'all. This is very real. No, people that dress like you, this ain't no fake stuff. Those mimicking spirits, when you start feeling, I don't know, I'm raising my eyebrows. They want your spot. Do not get shot for your spot. It is hunting and harvesting season. So that's why that, people are jealous and envious. All of that stems from the fact that you were blessed from your birth. And they're trying to hunt you because God predestined a harvest for you. So this is an example of light and darkness. And where did they come from? The same womb, the same family. It's possible. It is possible. Let me show you how this concept is used in movies and cartoons. We mentioned Cruella De Vil, the cruel devil, earlier. So let's break down her character and the symbolism used to push her satanic agenda. So right now on your screen, you're going to be seeing a photo of one of the Cruella style derivatives, so to speak. You'll see that her hair is split between light and darkness, but we're going to get with the original one. So where's she from? Great Britain. She's known as a British heiress and a woman of high ranking and great wealth. So she's from a foreign empire. You want to keep that in mind. Cruella's from a foreign empire. The crown of her head. Her hair is split black and white, which symbolizes the kingdom of light and darkness. The Masonic order and also Freemasonry is also referenced in her hair. Illuminati affiliation. Just like when I was in a sorority, it didn't matter if we didn't wear the actual shield, the crest, or anything like that. We wore the colors, so you were going to know where we had pledged our allegiance and who was behind it, whether we had the crest or the shield or not. In the movies, the cartoons, the TV shows, they're showing you who's behind the mask already. They're letting you know who is behind this. Let's talk about the cloak. So the cloak that she wears, and we're going to get into that. The cloak Cruella has is a luxurious mink cloak. And it's from the black spots of the Dalmatians. The cloak made for Joseph in the Bible, if you guys remember, the cloak made for Joseph in the Bible by his father Jacob was a symbol of his father's love and legacy. So cloaks mean something, right? The coat or cloak, it means something. And in the military and different divisions, you have the cloak and the coat of armor and all those other things. It was a fine coat of many colors. That same coat was stripped away from Joseph when he was thrown into the pit and sold off into slavery. This happened before he got to the palace and a place of power in a foreign land. Joseph's father's love for him was so great that it made his other siblings jealous. He was also given a promise that he would reign just as God has given many of the children of Israel. There's a promise that you will reign. That is why people want your spot. And this is why I'm encouraging, do not get shot. Don't get hunted for your spot. Do not. And how do you not get hunted? Understand, get your eyes open, cleave to the things of God so that you don't be somebody's next victim. So in this depiction of Cruella, she's usually driving a luxurious and very expensive car in her depictions. This indicates her allegiance to the world of darkness, which grants her great status. When you living for Satan, Satan got the power to bless you. Oh yeah. People say, you see what God blessed me with? No. Sometimes when you pledge your allegiance, you pledge for advancement, for wealth, for other things out there. But you didn't understand, what else was going to come along with those curses. Nonetheless, she drives erratically because she's driven by spirits of obsession, pride, greed, murder, and vanity. Too much is never enough for her. Just like the system we're immersed in today, the leaders of the world are driven by some of the same spirits. And I'm going to repeat those spirits that your world leaders, who you are so fascinated with, they are driven by the spirit of greed, pride, murder, and vanity. Just note that in your mind. Note those spirits because they're driving people erratically and manically in this hour. The Bible does warn us that the grave is never satisfied and neither are satanic people. So if you find yourself in a space where too much is never enough, you're never satisfied, you got to check, where's my allegiance to? No, because there's contentment in Christ. There's always another level, but there's a contentment in Christ. So if I'm never satisfied, something wrong with me. Who have I pledged my allegiance to? Let's examine the scripture that comes in Revelation 13 and also 2. And we're going to see that here. You see 13 and 2, that's right before you. This is what it says. John describes the beast from the sea as resembling a leopard, with feet like bear's feet and a mouth like a lion's mouth. It is symbolic and represents three empires. The three empires are represented by the lion, the bear, and the leopard. The beast from the sea described in these verses is a position of great power. So again, we see the status, the great power. Just as the world leaders are today that run our governmental system, the beast received their power from the dragon. So Satan gave them authority to reign as a king from his throne. He grants political and social leaders world power, fame, and money. This is the ushering in of the Antichrist. God gives people power, and so does Satan. And this chapter confirms it. So if you thought that, only God can bless, no. When you see some people getting blessed, whether it's quote unquote prophets of God, sometimes they're masked with church clothes on. But these people be a part of the kingdom of darkness, heavily immersed into secret societies, heavily immersed into the Illuminati and so many things that you don't know, and deception creeps in. So you believe if they have this, they must be blessed of God. Pay attention. You just pay attention. So we're going to go on and click to our next slide, which allows us to see Cruella De Vil, and we're going to take it from there. Cruella's victims are innocent puppies, also known as the 101 Dalmatians. She makes an attempt to purchase the dogs, but after being denied, she results in kidnapping them with 2 henchmen. So after you tell Cruella no, she says, that's not it. I'm going to get my way one way or another. We need to understand the spirit. So even when y'all come up and be talking crazy about what Queen Jezebel was, just a vanity, no. See, Cruella does represent Queen Jezebel in the Bible. Queen Jezebel was one of the most wicked women. And it wasn't about vanity. Oh, she got a Jezebel spirit. No, that's not about vanity. This is about cruel, evil people who will seek blood to get their way. That's what you must understand. Rightfully divide the word of truth. See how it's being influenced and influxed on the children. I grew up seeing this stuff. Most of you all grew up seeing this stuff as well. So we're going to get back so that I don't miss anything at all. Queen Jezebel in the Bible was willing to lie, plot, scheme to get what she wanted, even at the expense of bloodshed. In the waking world, the Dalmatians are hunting dogs from Croatia and from the region of Dalmatia. In the book, it's up to the dogs to decide what to do when it appears that everyone around them cannot be woken after succumbing to a mysterious deep sleep. The people are asleep. And all the songs around you say, stay woke. Y'all know that song, stay woke. And it's a bop. It's a bop in the waking, but people are dead. They're sounding in a stay woke. Stay woke. Somebody's hunting. Stay woke. Anyhow, that deep sleep that's referenced when the dogs are trying to wake them, that deep sleep is witchcraft. People wake up to that. These Dalmatians represent the chosen nation of Israel and their inheritance. The down is a curse upon the chosen nation. And we need to really let that get up in our spirit today. It's really a curse that's levied upon the chosen nation. Additionally, it plays off of Psalms 101, where King David is vowing to destroy all wicked things in his life and around him in order to walk upright before the Lord. But presently, the wicked have turned to slay the people of God. You know what that's due to? It's due to the curses that's upon our lives, that they have legal jurisdiction to do so. These people got a right. From the idol, a false worship of idols, they have a right. That's the entry point. They have a right. When we're in sororities and fraternities and living whatever life, and we're actively involved in pagan worship, even through our favorite holidays, the right to be slayed. That's why the goal is to enlighten you on what they do, so that you're not a blind participant in your own destruction. The plot is to steal, kill, and destroy. Now you're about to see where these spots come into play. We're going to jump into the scripture to back this breakdown up with the word of God. So as we can see in Genesis 31, Jacob, who has the birthright, Remember, Jacob and Esau. Esau's a hunter, Jacob's a harvester. Now we will see how this comes into play. Genesis 31. Jacob, who has the birthright, has now worked for Laban, his uncle, for 14 years. Has had his wages changed 10 times. During this breakdown, I want you to understand the numbers. You got to understand the numbers. 10 times this man's wages was changed. 10, the number 10. Keep that in mind. And he's now ready to leave with his 2 wives and his children, their handmaidens and everybody else, to return to the land of his birth. His wives support him because they know that their father has been unjust toward Jacob, which is their husband. So now the Lord visits Jacob in a dream to confirm his inheritance and departure from the world of bondage, basically, which is through Laban and at his home. So we're going to pull up this image for you to be able to see, so that it comes up in your spirit as you visually see and hear. The chapter says, if he spoke thus, the speckled shall be your wages. You see speckled things there. The speckled shall be your wages. Then all the flock brought forth speckled. And if he spoke thus, the striped shall be your wages. Then all the flock brought forth striped. Thus God has taken away your father's livestock. He's talking to his wives. Your father's livestock, and given them to me. And it came about at the time when the flock were mating, that I lifted up my eyes and saw in a dream, and behold, the male goats which were mating were striped, speckled, and mottled. Then the angel of God said to me in a dream, Jacob. And I said, here I am. And he said, lift up now your eyes to see that all the male goats which are mating are striped, speckled, and mottled. For I have seen all that Laban has been doing to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed a pillar, where you made a vow to me. Now arise, leave this land, and return to the land of your birth. That's something else. That is something else. You see this visual depiction of how Jacob's livestock looked when he left. He was leaving with the livestock. We can see that the Lord heard Jacob's cry as a harvester, and has blessed him with the inheritance of the wicked one, who was also involved in pagan worship. So, Uncle Laban, he was a pagan. He worshiped pagan gods. We see that the inheritance for him and his descendants is represented through speckled, striped, and mottled livestock. Mottled means marked with spots or smears of color. That's all. Laban's wealth would be passed to Jacob because Jacob lived upright before God and had erected an altar back at Bethel that God called back to altar. So he was telling him, now because you set that altar up to me, I got to bless you. You've been doing some stuff right. I got to bless you. The Bible also teaches us that the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. I love that. It's some wicked people that got to bless. Thank you. Run me that. I'm going to need that. So we see the law of God in motion here. And let me bring you back in. After Jacob had done all of this for Laban, Laban's attitude then changed toward Jacob, right? So even after Laban was oppressing Jacob, suppressing him, it seemed the more he suppressed him, the more that God blessed him. He was confused by this, but I'm getting upset with you because I don't like that. I keep suppressing you. And if I say then your wages is going to be spotted, and the ones that kind of like mangy or whatever the case may be, then God made all the livestock bring forth what I said your wage would be. That's how God will do. He will bless you amidst the suppression, and that's why people want your spot. It's not in your physical possessions, but it's in what's inside of you, the Spirit of God that's harnessed inside of you. So just be encouraged by that. Back to the breakdown. The puppies were kidnapped and skinned or slaughtered for their black spots for someone else's selfish gain. Black spots, folks. They were skinned for their black spots, okay? They are needed as babies because their fur is less coarse. The softer mink coats sell better in the fashion industry. In essence, take their spots away from them at an early age while they are soft and pure, to strip them of who they are and remove their uniqueness from them. Cruella De Vil is a cruel devil and a hunter. Who was Esau? A hunter. Who was Jezebel in the Bible? A hunter. And what did they want? Blood. This is a prime example of what Satan does. He desires to take your spot, remove your birthright, strip you of your uniqueness, and exploit the gifts that God has placed inside of you for Satan's selfish gain. That is a reoccurring theme within the governmental system as well as Hollywood at large. Let's not forget again, Esau was a hunter and Jacob was a harvester. God loved Jacob, but Esau, he hated. They after your spots because of the love God had for you. So we're going to go right here and bring this down and let you see this next slide. And it reads, black kids go missing at a higher rate than white kids. Here's why we don't hear about them, okay? This is the whole article being put up, missing children. There is no coincidence that thousands of black babies go missing. There was an entire campaign saying, bring our girls back home. Y'all know when the people was holding up the little paper, bring our girls back. Y'all remember that whole campaign that was going on? You had Michelle Obama and everybody else holding up them things talking about bring our girls back home. Okay, I'm wondering who was behind the campaign, but I ain't gonna say nothing about that. That's not my business. Let me get back to the word and what I gotta say. But seriously, an entire campaign about bring our girls back home, and there have been countless incidences of black bodies found with no organs in them. Y'all hear about these bodies being rolled up, and when they unroll the mat, ain't no organs inside of these people. Yeah, God's chosen people are being hunted purposefully. This is not by coincidence. There is a such thing called human harvesting. And guess where it's on? The black market, where they sell organs. They sell human organs. Again, it's on the black market. They're hunting you for what's inside your DNA. That is also seen in movies like Get Out. These are not just movies. They're warnings. It's predictive programming. I'm telling you, they're showing you on how they plan to slaughter you. It's up to you to wake up and stay woke. On the soundtrack, Childish Gambino got Stay Woke. Y'all go look up them lyrics. You'll be like, nah, this ain't about talking about you and a woman. You talking about the system at large. I see what you did there. These people sleep, but I see what you did there. So in the movie Get Out, you see a wealthy white blind man say to the black man, I want your eyes. I want your eyes. So when Chris asks, why us? Why black people? Jim scoffs, says he couldn't care less about what race Chris is. He has loftier, artistic reasons and proceeds to say, I want your eyes, man. What most don't understand is that there's a celestial power that the people of God possess. This goes back to the kingdom of light and darkness. This is all related to the kingdom of light and darkness. You possess something that other people want. There is something that even your eyes alone show that you possess something. The dark kingdom wants to see what God is revealing to his people. No, God does not take confidence in everyone to reveal his mysteries. And that is showcased in the word of God in Matthew 13, 10 through 1. And we're going to take a look at Matthew 13, 10 through 1. And this is just to tell you, they say, well, God will reveal all to every man and everybody. I want to challenge you with that scripture there. It says, the disciples came to him and asked, why do you speak to people in parables? He replied, because the knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them. Hold on. It's a separation. It's a separation. No, the knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them. Bringing it back in to why the eyes are wanted, it's because of what Matthew 6 and 22 says. It says the eye is the lamp of the body. So if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light, light-filled people. You can only be light-filled if you're a part of the kingdom of light. You can't be in the kingdom of darkness talking about you light-filled. I know you lying. I know you lying about that one. And if you look at the screen here, Revelations 2 and 18 is pulled up. It says, while speaking to the church in Thyatira, the Lord introduced himself as the Son of God, the one who has eyes like a flame of fire, and his feet are like shining bronze. So it tells you the Lord himself was light-filled. And if you were descendant, and if you were an inheritant of the kingdom, you're going to be light-filled as well. So we're going down to the next slide, which says 2 Kings 6 and 17. Then Elisha prayed and said, O Lord, please open his eyes that he may see. So the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. Open his eyes, your spiritual eye gate, not just your physical eyes. Open my spiritual eye gate right now, God, that you would show me the codes that they are hiding and the things they're putting before me, and the poison and the things that they're telling me that this is good for me, but it's not good for me. Open my spiritual eyes that I may see. This is the prayer that we need to be praying. Open my eyes. I don't want to be hunted in this last hour. I'm called to be a harvester. No, I don't want to be hunted by people for my spot, for my dark spot. No, I don't want that. No, I got the dark spots and it's on me. I'm representative of the livestock, of the inheritance of Jacob. No, I don't want to be hunted in this hour. You got to pray about that thing. The dark world is always intrigued by what's going on in the kingdom of light. The eye gate showcases what is happening to the soul. So now you can probably see that we watch these movies and they are not designed for your entertainment, but rather to program you. When I watch something, I'm not watching it to be entertained. I'm watching it for the markers. I'm watching it to see at what time y'all telling me, okay, I see what you're doing there. I'm watching it not to be entertained. Oh, that's my favorite show. I used to, but if I choose to watch something, I'm going to be watching to pay attention to the signs of the time. Speaking of which, Lil Nas X got a song, and I don't know if it went over y'all head. It said, signs of the time. Every time I speak, I say, boom, boom. Oh boy told you what was going on. A sign of the time every time I speak. Markers. They telling you. The Bible says that Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy, not to entertain. Not to entertain you. He's coming to steal, kill, and destroy, but he does it through the entertainment industry, just so you know. We are actively participating in our own demise and the destruction of our children. What you don't know is you're paying to see the plans they have to slaughter you. Isn't that something? They charge you so you can see how they plan to take you out. Yep, okay, that'll be $11.50 at the movies. Let me go, come on, sit in this movie so I can show you and buy the $22 worth of popcorn and everything else. Because we just going to get you in here, show you how we plan to kill you. Smile, smile, just like Mickey and Minnie, smile. Behind that mask, it is something grievous. Woo, this ain't nothing to be played about. So it's not just movies, it's immersed in every social media sector that you can think about. And we're going to go to this slide, right? So there's a popular trend now that's of the red flag, which basically, allows people to say, oh, if XYZ is going on, then that's a red flag. Oh, if she, with her baby daddy talking about, oh, that's my best friend, that's a red flag. They're waving the red flag. In all honesty, they're waving this red flag because it's wartime. And we are living out the book of Revelation, people. The second horseman is given a great sword that rides a red horse, symbolizing war and bloodshed. You can read that in Revelation 6, 1 through 8. Please write that down. When you see little trends on the internet, now a person could have started a trend, about the red flag innocently, but what are they going to allow to be pushed? Yeah, they're going to use the energy of whatever's floating around to push their agenda. Yeah, there are real things that people just come up with casually. Oh, no, I didn't mean anything. I was just saying that's a red flag. But they're going to use that energy to push an agenda down on you. You must understand that. So you can see that slide, and it says war and bloodshed, war and bloodshed. So we've got that there. So there's another slide down here. We're going to skip to it, and it's Revelation 17 and 4. The woman who was dressed in purple and scarlet and was glittering with gold, precious stones, and pearls. She held a golden cup in her hand filled with abominable things and the filth of her adulteries. So yeah, we living in the book of Revelation here, okay? Everything right there is unfolding before us. You got it all happening. Then you got the Beyonce lyrics, and we're going to pull this up on the screen too. Now, Beyonce, some of y'all is hard-bodied Beyonce fans, and I ain't got no problem with nobody, but what we going to do is reveal truth. Oh, the beehive, child, please, God coming for this whole land, and y'all better be fully aware. So Beyonce's lyrics in Move Forever, we going to go back and let you see. You done saw the lady with her cup up to the heavens. Beyonce says, it gives me goosebumps every time I throw up my diamond, pledging her allegiance to Rock Nation, the Illuminati, and all the above. Together, we're big timing. Don't make me have to remind you. I got my cup up to the heavens. Who had their cup up to the heavens, y'all? Who had their cup up to the heavens? The lady in Revelation 17:4. And what was the cup filled with? Oh, the cup was filled with all abominable things and the filth of her adulteries. And move forever is a low bop, though. It's a low bop. It says, I got my cup up to the heavens. Another night I won't remember. Promise this my mood forever. Promise this my mood forever and ever. Treasures dancing on the bezel. We gonna get the treasures inside of this breakdown. Treasures dancing on the bezel is kind of feeling unforgettable. Boom. Who raised their cup up? Don't listen. I didn't write it. I'm just revealing it. I didn't write it. I didn't do it. I'm just revealing it. So here we go. They have now, Clifford the big red dog. And you can see this pulled up on your screen too. So Clifford the big red dog coming back now in film form. And when is it scheduled to be released? In the fall. No coincidence that it's being released in the fall. There is a great fall pending. Clifford is symbolic of the horseman and dragon in Revelation. Did you know? I used to love Clifford growing up. I ain't seen nothing wrong with Clifford. Harmless, right? That's what they want you to believe. That's what they want you to believe. No, Clifford, they waving the red flag and he coming back this fall. Cruella always has a cigarette near her, symbolizing how she's going to smoke the puppies. Just as Satan wishes to smoke the people of God, Satan himself was smoted out of heaven. He was smoted out of heaven. In other words, he was kicked out. As an heir to the kingdom, do you not think Satan would want revenge on you? You don't think Satan want no revenge? He gets his revenge by making the heirs, which is us, defy their father, forging covenants that allow him legal jurisdiction to take our birthright. This is all going back to the birthright. This is all going back to the birthright. Y'all saw in the video I made for y'all, I was a witch and didn't even know it. Birthright just all out there. Who knew? I didn't know. I came up here for advancement. What y'all telling me? Who we doing? I done defied the laws of God and I ain't even know it. And I was an active participant, baby. I'm going to everything. I'm loud using my voice as an instrument for this. So going back to the Dalmatian, the spotted puppies represent the harvest, just as the spotted livestock did for Jacob after he worked 20 years for it. What's a part of any harvest? The corn, the bread, the wheat, the grain, etc. So I'm going to switch over to this slide with Beyonce. And you see here, the same imagery is shown in Beyonce's movie, Black is King, which is also a Disney movie, like most are. Like the 101 Dalmatians. Now there's a whole lot of symbolism and even witchcraft in the movie. Too much to break down in this video, but I do want to show you the title of the film in itself says it all. Black is King expresses to you who was a part of the chosen nation. And I go very much so into depth about that in my book, but just so you can look at this, yes, they showing you. You don't see this? What he said, the spotted. You see the spots on her. You see her. You see them. You see the cattle there in the field. But then you also see the horns. It's representation of what the inheritance consisted of. So we just want to bring that to the light. We're going to shed light on that. Also, y'all see the spots, the stripes, Black is King, all that. They're kind of telling you something. And I don't believe in zodiacs, but God had been ministering to me about zodiacs and what people are doing. Vast majority of people, even people who claim, Christ and all of the above, they're into zodiacs. But these elites are using the vibrational energy about the demonic forces that are coming out of these portals and are released seasonally as a part of these zodiacs. So if you don't know, right now it's 2021, and in Chinese horoscope, 2021 is the year of the ox. And you see where they have this here right on your screen. Chinese zodiac 2021, the year of the ox. Speaking of the ox, the Bible states in 1 Timothy 5:18, for the scripture said, thou shalt not muzzle the ox that treadeth out the corn, and the laborer is worthy of his reward. That's in regard to harvesters, both human and in animal form. It's harvest season for the people of God, but anyone who is not within the covenant will be hunted. No, there's some people who are going to be hunted. And if you don't get back your birthright and get back into the covenant, it's evil pending for you. And nobody don't need to be smiling in your face talking about, we're going to kill you. That's how Hollywood does. I ain't going to tell you, they about to kill you. That's how Crisco, they about to kill you. You better get it right. They're about to kill you. Again, there's a such thing as human harvesting. And that comes from the hunting of humans at large, especially black people. Yeah, they be sold off later on for your organs and everything else. That's why some of you who have the organ donor on your license too, get rid of that. Just put that in there. Get rid of that. I had to get rid of that off of mine years ago. Child, please. They put you in a whole nother category. Anyway, we must ask ourselves, which group of people have been muzzled the most? And I think most of you will be able to, get the fact that the spotted ones, the mottled ones, the ones of color, right? So we're going to go down here to James 5:4, and that should be on your screen by now. It says, look, the wages you failed to pay the workers who mowed your fields are crying out against you. The cries of the harvesters have reached the ears of the Lord Almighty. Listen, just like with Jacob was a harvester. The cries, I done seen. Now you heard what he said. I done seen what was going on, what Laban was doing to you. It done reached the ears of the Lord. And this is a whole nother scripture. This is in James now. This is in James. The government, the managers of these companies, they treat you horribly, but they rely on your strength to produce the desired outcome, just like they do the ox, right? Don't muzzle the ox that treaded out the corn. And at the same time, any of the laborers, they're due their wages, baby. This is the fourth quarter. It's game time. There will be a huge shift in the universe. That's why you need to get the revelation of God before trying to set a New Year resolution. Facebook recently announced the launch of Metaverse. Y'all saw that, right? Y'all saw the launch of Metaverse, and then you have it right here. Yeah, so we're going to break down what this whole Metaverse is and what phase they're going into in phase 4. You're going to see this symbolism a lot too. People throw up the 4 because they letting you know it's winding down. They letting you know this been for years. They be showing you. So they says they're rebranding themselves as Meta. And we're going to take a look at the name and the logo and what Meta means in Hebrew. So let me go ahead and skip down to this next slide. It says Meta means dead in Hebrew. Now you could go look that up. That's public information. Meta means dead. And y'all done changed from Facebook to Metaverse. Okay. All right. We're going to get into that too. So you're entering into the Metaverse means that you are entering into a dimension of death via this teleportation station. The Metaverse will augment your reality. And these are their words. That's not my words. They told you what it's going to do. They're not lying. The Metaverse is a teleportation station that's ushering users into the spiritual realm of death. Again, meta in Hebrew means dead. Okay. So we just going to go right there. And I'm going to change the slide over here as we take a look, at Metaverse and all of what's going on. You see him and he has all of these colors that's around him and him kind of like in a circular kind of portal style thing. Then over here you see Horizons World. That's to the right of the screen. Then as we go down and we look at the logo, let's take a look at the logo. We take a look at the logo and it looks like an infinity sign. There are 3 major applications of infinity symbol: the mathematical, the physical, and the metaphysical. Metaphysical, right? Just like the Metaverse, it has the characteristics of the number 8, but also resembles the Baphomet and the symbols from the Us movie. So let me take you down from the Baphomet. If you see now the Baphomet satanic symbol, you see the Metaverse, it's in the middle, and then you move right on over. Don't this all look the same? Baby, they're showing you something. They're hiding this in plain sight. They say if you don't get it, if you can't understand, that's your business because we showed you. What? Are y'all saying we going to enter into something and it's supposed to be fun, but Now we're going to go on down to this next slide, right? So the logo also showcases an X in the middle, the shape of a bow tie, often seen in Disney, but looks like a video game controller at the same time. Again, this is controlling of the minds. It's all mind games. Mind games. You see this on your slide right here. You can see that, baby. They flipping through and they showing you exactly what we do. And the symbolism that it's mass, it's so pretty. Mickey Mouse my favorite. Minnie Mouse my favorite. I love them. The bowls that you see, oh, that's nice. Let me incorporate that into my mind control, predictive programming. So as we kind of go down, we're going to give you a little briefing of what the Us movie is, okay? So here's an overview of the Us movie, which was released March 18, 2019. In the movie, a couple and their 2 children must fight for survival when 4 masked strangers descend upon their beachfront home. The beachfront home, just so you know, it indicates water spirits. When the masks come off, the family is horrified to learn that each attacker takes the appearance of one of them. So you look like me, but you attacking me. Message. Mask and masquerading spirits. Now remember, the COVID-19 has not yet appeared yet, because this was what? March 18, 2019. The COVID-19 pandemic has not even happened yet, but the masks are coming off, and a black family are the main characters in the movie. Us. You saw, what did he say when it was in the Get Out? Why us? Why black people? It ain't nothing that I'm trying to put on you. I'm just trying to put you up on game here. There we go. So let's break down the metaverse. And we're going to go to the screen about the holograms right here. Again, you look just like me, right? It is me who's attacking me. Did you catch that? Maybe you did, but I caught it. We're going to break it down. It allows you to use holograms. This is all metaverse. They're going to allow you to use holograms, which you can project those holograms into the physical world. Now, if you know anything about the spirit realm, when you can project something, it's called astral projection. Astral projection, which is witchcraft. I don't know if y'all knew that, but that's called witchcraft. There's Horizon Home, where you can invite your friends as avatars to your virtual home space. Avatars are demons, okay, whether you knew it or not. Just as an FYI, the avatar tells you everything that is pending for participants of metaverse. Blue is also a significant color. So if you've ever seen the Avatars, the movie, they telling you everything that you need to know within that. If you have not seen that, they're coding everything, but they're telling you, so to speak, and even using the characters' names and everything else. It's crazy. So we're going to go down to our next slide, which has Exodus 24:10. And they saw the God of Israel. There was under his feet, as it were, a pavement of sapphire stone, the color blue, like the very heaven for clearness. Remember, sapphire is blue. We're going to read that again. And they saw the God of Israel. There was under his feet, as it were, a pavement of sapphire stone, like the very heaven of clearness. Now, I'm going to put y'all on this, and I ain't add this in here, but Jay-Z, in some of his recent photos, he has a sapphire ring that he's wearing. Jay-Hova, Jay-Z, Hova. I don't know if that ring a bell to y'all, but that does something for me. That's just information. The children of Israel were ordered to wear blue tassels to remind them of God's commands. You can read that in Numbers 15:38-40. So colors have significance. Light, sound, color, all of that has significance, even down to the Bible. You can see this. Can you see it? I see it. So we're going to go ahead and look right here where it says Exodus 28:31. You shall make the robe of ephod all of blue. You shall make the robe of the ephod all of blue. Again, color significance. Now we're going to move to this next slide. And you see a couple of people who are known as like legends, or people who died too soon and they're all wearing blue. That's why you see the recent industry sacrifices in the color blue. The person may have had several photos, but they always choose that color to showcase on search engines for the energy of the avatar. Still relating certain things that God commanded for his chosen people, but they're going to twist everything. They're takers. They're masqueraders. They're mimicking spirits. But when they make a sacrifice, they choosing to put on these search engines. You look certain people up. They got a ton of pictures. Why all of them got to be in blue? And you won't know unless you see them side by side. Go look them up. King Von. You got XXXXXTentacion. So however you say his name. I don't know how to say his name like that. But you know, DMX, Nipsey, and everybody, Nipsey Blue, Sacrifice Blue, that's what that's about. That's what that is. So with that, they've entered into a new dimension as an avatar. Okay? So you see from human to avatar, that should be on your screen right now. Death for them, you know, is a sacrifice and a moving to another portal. So they've also put before you from human to avatar. And some things don't make sense unless you be able to see it side by side. I like to be able to see my stuff side by side. That's why the breakdown is being done. Don't they look quite alike? And now they the blue man. When else you saw the blue man in Black is King? Y'all saw that. Everybody dancing to it. It was the choreography was there, but there was a message to it. So the same with social media. Every time we click on our profile picture, they refer to it as an avatar. We enter into a portal, and it's no coincidence they call it the Facebook portal. I discuss portals in my book, as well as you know, other major things that you'll need to know. But for the sake of time, we'll keep that moving. That's in the movie of Avatar. In the movie, the clan attempts to transfer grace from her human body into her avatar with the aid of the tree of souls, but she dies before the process can be completed. This is exactly what science is doing to you through social media, the metaverse, the everything that's pending for you. On the eve of battle, Jake prays to Iwa via a neural connection with the tree of souls to intercede on behalf of the Navi. Hope I'm saying that right. The movie clearly uses names from the Bible and twists them. The character Jake is short for Jacob. He prays to Iwa, you know, but they twist it to sound like Yahweh. The character in the movie is praying to Satan, actually. The tree of souls in the Bible refers to the tree of good and evil. This is why they incorporated the giant tree called Homeland. What we got down here, Homeland Security. Okay, the homeland to cause war. This is spiritual warfare that we're living in. And all of the movies are showing us. And the things that we watched, that was a good one. I love the way that ended. Oh, I ain't like the way that ended. You're going for the entertainment. They don't care whether you're entertained or not. They just want to show you what they about to do to you. Transformers, transform you. Go ahead, let's get back to the breakdown of the metaverse. Now, so we've got, you know, the horizon worlds, right? We've got the horizon worlds. It's a component of metaverse where you can jump into different worlds at your convenience, okay? So you see the picture here. You're able to jump into different worlds at your convenience. And before that, I would have already slid to the fact that you saw the avatar, human to avatar. You see another picture of the avatar kind of mimicking the woman over here. And now horizon worlds. You can jump into a whole nother world. You can teleport yourself. You want to be in another world? You can go to a different dimension. So pretty much it's going to be at your convenience. You can be in space and defy gravity. Some think it's cool, but the question is, after you come out of the metaverse, will you be able to operate while on this dimension? You know, the waking world. After you get out of that world, off of that high, can you operate here? I don't know. I guess only time will tell. Many people are working from home now. And you can be in the office space from the metaverse while, I guess, still at your home. This is all the horizon worlds and the horizon office and all of this other stuff that they've got going on. There will be, there's holograms, which are going to be a game changer, as they say. They will allow your physical movement in the virtual world. Remember the process, the girl died in the avatars before the process could be completed. So we just want to bring this full circle. The girl had died before the process. The meta means dead in Hebrew. I don't know if you're catching that, but I just wanted to drive that point home. It's so very important. So they will be selling their devices. The Presence platform brings realistic presence to teleportation, human hand interactions to the app via Project Cambria, I believe it says, which is compatible with Quest, but higher end and more expensive. The avatar will be able to make actual eye contact, supposedly gives you more diversity. You can bring people into your home through augmented glasses, and they have a Project Nazarene. So glasses, again, dealing with the eyes, dealing with the eyes, dealing with the eyes, people. This is all stuff that's happening. And this is going to be so cool. This is groundbreaking. And I remember hearing something that says, people ask, what does the future hold? The question is, what do we hold for the future? You see the God complex? What you be like, God, what do you have for my future? I don't know. I got a future ahead. And God says, I plan to give you hope and a future. You know, Jeremiah 29:11, they say, what do we have planned for the future? If that's not satanic, I'm not really sure what is. And I'm going to go to the next slide, which is Eden versus Edom, good versus evil. Metaverse is ushering in Eden versus Edom. This all started with the tree of good and evil. The sins that levied the curses and caused damnation now have the chosen people, like the Dalmatian puppies, being slaughtered for their black spots. There was sin that took place. And there are some of us that have never converted back over. Let me go get my birthright. Let me open my eyes. Let me stop the wicked stuff I've been having my hands in and all this other stuff. Yeah, it's happening. The sin that levied curses. That's where we are. So one thing I want you to understand too, in recent news, and we're going to go right to this, Astro World Tour, okay? You can see this right here on your screen. Astro World Concert, which takes place in Houston, Texas, aka the South, where everything is bigger in Texas. This concert was a ritual and ceremony that took place, evoking witchcraft magic through light, sound, and color. Now, if you look at the actual stage over here, and this is on your screen right now, if you count, there are 8 flames, 4 on the left and 4 on the right. This is an entire portal. This is an entire portal. To the right, over here, it looks as if there's a horseman to the right. You know, these are all things because they have this set up that way. So they're going to choose what you get a chance to see on social media. Okay. So then it says, you know, the number 8 pretty much represents and is shaped like the symbol of infinity. Okay. If you turn the 8 to the side, it looks like the infinity symbol. There will be infinite sacrifices this season because it's hunting season. Alongside that, there was a 10-year-old killed. 10, like the amount of times Jacob's wages were changed. This is all relating to the kingdom of light and darkness. And when you know something is fake news, and we're going to get into that, they start changing the youngest person's, you know, age. They said age 10 and then they said 14. But in the Bible, still, the number 14 is very significant, even to Jacob. He had to work 7 years, and they deceived him and gave him Leah when he ain't want Leah as his wife to begin with. He had to work another 7 years just to be able to get Rachel as his wife, whom he loved. So that you see the number 14 has significance, but when it's fake news, they start changing up everything. Astro World is just a prelude to the metaverse. People will enter into death when they enter into that portal. When people went to that concert, they entered into death. They went into another dimension. Yeah, they were physically here and in Houston, Texas, but they entered into a death dimension. Then when Travis Scott released a video allegedly apologizing for what happened and offering to help the families of the victims, when you see pictures and videos where people are angled in this way, almost like they looking over something, that's usually because they are over the sacrifice. They're over the kill. That's fake news. They're a part of it in some way, some form. So you can begin to look at that, right? So then throughout the video, he shows his allegiance to Satan and his Illuminati affiliation. He balls up his fist, right? And he starts creating the number 6. He starts moving. It's all throughout the videos, all these different times, and even moves it over his eye, you know, to show his affiliation. 666, he does this enough. Now, if somebody, most people be like this, you know, if something really got your head messed up, but I want you to see my affiliation. I can't make this up. It's sitting on your screen. You can see it before you. You can choose not to see it, but it's there. This again was a huge concert in a place known as the South, where everything is bigger. During slavery, the biggest sacrifices happened in the South. The kicker is Travis Scott is actually from Houston, Texas, letting you know that it will be the people who look like you that will take you out, but they will be under satanic orders. And many times from a foreign land, you will see physically that represented in their shields, their crests. So don't be deceived by outward appearances. There are some skin folks that really ain't your kin folks. They may look like you, but they're not driven by the same forces. You will be driven by two very separate forces. These people are out for blood. You trying to harvest the things of God. Meanwhile, they want to hunt. And anybody is open for the hunt. That's just how they see it. That's where it goes. This all brings us down to 2020. And also it was the year of the mask and the gloves. We're talking about masquerading spirits, people presenting themselves as one thing, but it goes to the mask and the gloves. And we pulled this up before you. You see this team right here who has the mask and the gloves. There was a planned catastrophe to strip people of their social freedoms and distance them from physical people. This is not a conspiracy, it's prophecy. God says in the word that the plagues of the land will not come on his chosen people, just as it did not harm them in the book of Exodus, okay? So we've got that there. And then I'm going to switch the slide over so you can see the Masked Singer television show. Isn't it ironic? They have a show called The Masked Singer. The Masked Singer. It's an American reality singing competition television series that's premiered on Fox January 2nd, 2019. Again, this is prior to the pandemic. The Masked Singer show. It's a part of the Masked Singer franchise, which began in South Korea, okay? It's all connected to Squid Game, a South Korean survival drama. Its logo also resembles Meta's logo. So I'm going to go down here and show you the logo of the Masked Singer to Metaverse. Y'all think this here is some coincidence? No, you're just so blinded in your day-to-day life that you can't make the connection. And sometimes you be looking for entertainment and God be like, I need you to get the revelation. Some things are not about being entertained. See what's before you so that you do not be deceived. And I'm very big on not deceiving people and people being able to open up their eyes. So now the elites have ushered in Metaverse and brought all the masks and spooky gloves out to entertain you and the movies and the costumes. And I'm pulling up this right here so you can see the parallel. You see all of this before you. You can see the slide that has all of these spooky gloves to entertain you in movies and the costumes many have chosen to wear in the past Halloween. Many are forced to wear a mask because there is a direct agenda, but there are those who volunteer for Freddy and Jason. Why do you think Jason was trending? It's to push the agenda. For the sake of time, I won't really go into the vaccination component of all of this. I do discuss some of that in my book, but they're really showing you the masked massacre. Masked massacre, though. Out for blood. They got something in their hand that's going to kill you. Just let that sink into your spirit. Again, don't get shot. Don't get shot. Wherever they trying to shoot you, don't get shot. Something in the shot, y'all. Something in the shot. That's all I'm going to say right now. All right, so we're going to keep it moving and really bring this into the Bible. Colossians 2:8. And this is the English Standard Version, just so you know. It says, so see to it that no one takes you captive by philosophy, the ideology. I don't care. Some people are trying to take you captive by getting into your mind. Everybody's doing it. You need to do it. Don't let the words say, don't let them take you captive by philosophy and empty deceit, according to human tradition, according to the elemental spirits of the world. I talk about that stuff in my book too. And not according to Christ. So all of what these people are pushing with this agenda, that's why I don't be understanding. You got people who say they claim to love God, but ain't no impartation, and you encouraging people to go get shot for their spot. What you doing? What you doing? Don't be telling nobody that. No, it's the fear that got you talking. That ain't the spirit of the Lord. No, well, pastor say if we gonna be able to continue the work of the Lord, we got to do. Pastor, I'm gone. I'm get out. Chris, get out. I'm gone. Shoot. Now let's go on down to Squid Games. Let me show y'all the slide right here. So Squid Games is the Netflix series that uses predictive programming to show you end time prophecy in the form of the entertainment industry. The filmmaker said, guess what it took? How many years did it take to make Squid Games? 10. Like Jacob, like the amount of time his wages was changing. It's codes, people. It's codes. So squid, like the octopus, are water spirits. And I'm going to take you on down to this next slide. You see that octopus? Squid, like the octopus, are water spirits. Octopus symbolizes mind control, hence why Facebook now has metaverse. Many have the Oculus, which is a virtual reality gaming device. Do you see how the words are very similar? Oculus and octopus, it all deals with your mind, your vision, your eyes. It gets your eye gate, takes you into another dimension. I don't know if you see that, but I do. Squid games are mind games. They want your mind. Just look at the characters and read between the lines. So we're going to look at this. Okay, let's evaluate player number 101. You know, like the 101 Dalmatians. Falls off of a bridge. He is drowning in gambling debt. Water spirits drowning. Keep in mind, 101 does connect to the 101 Dalmatians. Even in the movie, they are all competing for the spot. Competing for the spot. All right, people, let's connect. This is the connecting point. The Bible teaches us that the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. It is not the article of money that's just evil, but it's the love one possesses within their innermost being. The love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. All kinds of evil. This is where we at. So now I've inserted this photo so that you would be able to see the players are dressed in green to show how every person is seen as a piece of property and as a prisoner. Okay, prisoners in Squid Games are trapped in the matrix. They're just trapped in the matrix. They're very much so trapped in the matrix, and are dressed in green, representing the fall of the money. The inflation in the economy is due to a drop in the currency value. The player falling from the bridge forecasts the collapse of the market and judicial system. So the U.S. announces that they are running out of money. I don't know if y'all saw that article, but the U.S. did announce that they're running out of money. And they are showing that people will kill for the love of it by way of what? Squid Games. They showing you for the love of money, these people are killed. A play off red light, green light. We discussed earlier, of the red horse and the dragon riding on in. Red light, green light. You can't be making no sudden moves or anything like that. So now you got the leprechaun, right? The leprechaun wore green and was evil for money. Not to mention he's depicted with red hair and striped socks. Now who had red hair and some stripes on him? Chucky. Chucky did. Okay, Chucky had a striped shirt. And he had red hair. Another popular costume that was used this year. Masked. Masked assassin. Masked assassins. That's how it works. So we're going to go ahead and insert that picture of Chucky and the leprechaun. And you can see that right side by side there. It's a visual for you. Again, this is about the stripe, which symbolizes Jacob's inheritance, even down to the slashes and stitches that you do see on Chucky's face. Red hair symbolizes Esau, who's described as having red hair and the red horse and dragon. Colors in itself is a language that they communicate through. So this is very important for you to be able to see that. Recently, you were able to see that, the Black Greek letter sorority who wears pink and green trending at the same time as Squid Games. Now, if you remember going back up, where the slide said the Matrix, you were able to see. There's pink and then there's green. It was trapped inside the matrix, though. They're kind of telling you, y'all could be upset about some things happening in the media, but you're trapped inside of the matrix. It is what it is. So yes, that's all being programmed there. This is at the same time when people are watching Squid Games. Fans with ties to Black Greek life, were upset by Tiffany Du Bois, who is depicted as Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority member who wears the organization's colors in multiple scenes. There's evidently an agenda being pushed through these rituals and global ceremonies. So they bringing it back to the Black community, the things that intrigue you, the things that you would take to heart, and the young woman said, I think she said, is that my shield that she's wearing? Is she wearing my shield on her chest? They're just telling you, you got your allegiance to something foreign. You ain't really even a part of that. Somebody else done stole your birthright, but you get offended by that. Nonetheless, you're going to be seeing foreign lands wearing a shield and controlling you, because that's what the world is coming to. That just is what it is. So further pushing the prison agenda, we're going to go right on down. And this slide says prisoners and concentration camps. Prisoners and concentration camps. So you see that. You can see Lil Nas X here, and he has on the pink, prison outfit, and then the prison wards or whoever they are in Squid Games with these, pyramids on their head. And that's a recurring theme in my book too. You see all of this happening simultaneously. You can see how the music industry will parallel the predictive programming that's happening even on your sitcoms and television shows. So going down to the next slide, it says they are after the babies. So you see the baby. He's oftentimes trending in the media, the youth, the legacy, the birthright. This is all going back. And this is two separate videos. This is Lil Nas X's Industry Baby. And then the baby has his that says $1 Billion Baby. These are two separate music videos, two young black rappers. Satan wants the birthright and will use children because they are most pure and impressionable. Children are very impressionable. They will make you an industry baby or a billionaire for your birthright because your birthright is the most valuable treasure. Esau gave his birthright up for a bowl of porridge. And most people will say, Esau, you couldn't have been that hungry to give up your whole birthright over that. But at the same time, the Bible teaches that he did despise that. Some are giving it up for the promise of wealth and advancement. I tell you all very candidly that I gave up my birthright and had to get it back. I was under pure deception. I went into the organization to try to get advancement, but I didn't know all of the curses that were going to come upon my life based upon me. Hey, I thought this was supposed to be good. We supposed to be doing a good work. Now I'm sitting here bound, and how I even get here? It's very weird. It's very real. I was a baby. At the onset of my adulthood. I was going into something else, and I was making a transfer. It's serious, y'all. So make sure you just keep that in mind. Now, one thing I want to pull up here is the Yeezy Ararat shoes and the prison inmate look. Y'all just look at this, okay? I want you to settle in on this really and look at what's happening here. And I'm going to break some things down for you. So I had to look up and say, what is the name of these shoes? And it's the Ararat shoes, the Yeezys. Okay. Bible meaning of Ararat is curse reverse, precipitation of curse. The word Armenia used in the King James Version of 2 Kings 19:37 and Isaiah 37:38 is translated from the same Hebrew word elsewhere recorded as Ararat. Now, if you know Kim K and the rest of the Kardashians, they're Armenian people. They are Armenian people. Their heritage or their lineage is from a foreign land. Ararat is also the mountain where Noah's ark rested after the great flood, which killed roughly 3 to 4 billion people. Population control. Don't get shot for your spot. Don't get shot for your spot. If you're going to remember any of these incantations stuff that people do daily, remember that phrase, don't get shot for your spot. Noah was safe, and he was safe. He kept warning the people. How many got on the boat? They say 8. They said it was 8. Don't get shot for your spot anyhow. That tragedy of the flood that hit the earth killed roughly 3 to 4 billion people. That's what they say. Kanye is in essence saying, me and my family is going to be good after the world goes into this whole Squid Games effect. You see how he's wearing, his pink shirt. The color orange represents nuclear warfare. I don't know if you all knew that the communication between light, sound, color, patterns, all of these other things, nuclear warfare, okay? There's wars breaking out, whether you know it or not, and they're doing this through the entertainment industry. Also, after the bombing, he's saying, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to be over in Ararat. Probably a place in Armenia. You know why? Because in this visual, he shows that the arrows are pointing toward the shoes. What is the name of the shoes? Y'all remember, follow the yellow brick road. God revealed Kanye as the Tin Man, a man that's heartless. He's going to do whatever he got to be able to do to save himself in these final hours. This Sunday service, no, baby. This ain't unto God. Them unto foreign spirits, them unto other gods. These 5 men represent 5 kings from 5 different nations. Dave Chappelle is on, the I won't be silenced. You're not going to X me out. You're not going to X me out to take my spot. Just pay attention. The whole cancel culture represents the X. You're not going to X me out to take my slot. I won't be silent. I'm telling you, here we go. So we just going to keep going further with the whole Squid Game approach. So you have a giant doll, right? So you can see this giant doll that's pulled up on your screen. The cameras are actually within the eyes. So basically, the giant doll with the cameras for eyes closely surveillances the players' every move. In a brutal twist, competitors who fail to freeze on a red light are shot and killed. Red light. Red light. If you don't stop, you're going to be killed. The red flag, the red light. She is positioned in front of a tree because it's about the tree of knowledge and evil, the tree of good and evil. And she represents the tree of evil. Branches come out of her head like Medusa with the snakes. Are you catching that? The serpent light. All of this imagery that's right before you. But if you're not aware, it's going to go right before you. It's going to go right over you. It is going to go right over you. So basically, they do use, the colors to push the agenda. So as we go back to Cruella, okay, we gonna go to Cruella, and y'all see some of the Kardashians that's up in here. And I ain't got no problem with nobody on a personal level, but what we gonna do is reveal what's going on here. Cruella smokes the puppies. Then in real life, several other things happen, right? We got Cruella De Vil right here. You see some of the symbolism and imagery through the Kardashian women and different things like that. We got Cruella there. Now, Cruella smokes the puppies. Then in real life, Pop Smoke, the 20-year-old rapper, was smoked in 2020. He was shot and killed. He was shot and killed by a mass murderer. And this was the prelude to the global pandemic, which in the USA was declared COVID-19 a pandemic on March 11, 2020. So this is all talking about Pop Smoke, right? Cruella smokes the puppies. And then before you know it, Pop Smoke, boom, 20-year-old by a 15-year-old masked murderer, masked. And this was written over all of the TVs. AR-15, 15-year-old, this stuff is real. Everybody had to wear masks while the government murdered people. That's the reality. Everybody had to wear masks while the government murdered people. It's all sacrifices, people. Y'all just have to be awake in order to see that. Ritual, ceremony, sacrifice. Just keep those elements. My book does talk about all of those in there. So you make sure that you be able to read that and get through that. Remember that they do want your spot, just like Cruella De Vil, and it's up to you to get this information and break the curses and get God's divine impartation to help you in these wicked hours. So the industry has an agenda. The industry has a full-on agenda, and what they do is push it all the time, show you the luxurious life, but they're doing something to you, whether you know it or not. Cruella does have a passion for fashion. She killed and kidnapped the puppies for their black spots. We're going to evaluate the agenda through this imagery that's shown here. We're looking at, Kanye West basically as he presents fashion and different things like that. No, the fashion that these people are presenting are that of prisoners. No. This is conditioning your mind to say, I need to be okay with my role as a prisoner. Every time you see him going and doing a Sunday service and everybody dressed like a prisoner, no, in this slide you can see that ain't right. Why we dress like some prisoners? They ain't say the children of Israel was all dressed like prisoners. No, this ain't right. But at the same time, I want the idea of control and uniformity to be upon you. And I didn't realize what was happening even in Delta because uniformity was a big key. The control aspect, the control of your mind is telling you something. They do send a message through fashion, whether you want to believe it or not. And I'm going to go to this next slide where you're able to see, the same fashion thing, Squid Games, and their faces covered. And then Kanye West does Donda. I'm releasing a book called The Spirit of Shionda. God is doing something major in this hour. He's exposing what's happening with different people. There is no coincidence there. And I want to go down to this other slide, which has Kanye West, Kim Kardashian, Marilyn Manson. They're all dressed like the Grim Reaper. Did y'all catch that? They're dressed like the Grim Reaper. It seems to have appeared in the Grim Reaper seemed to have appeared in Europe during the 14th century. The 14th century, y'all. It was during this time that Europe was dealing with what was the world's worst pandemic. What they said had dropped, the Delta variant, and could be more deadlier than every other one, or whatever the case may be. The world's deadliest, pandemic, the Black Death. The Black Death with the Grim Reaper. And then you see at the Met Gala and other places, and then you see on Donda, one of his sets, he got Marilyn Manson with. What's going on here? They're clearly telling us what's to come, the Grim Reaper. As mentioned previously, there is a celestial gene. There's a celestial gene that the elites are after because they are under satanic mind control. So let's talk about the X and the constant use of it in the media. So we're going to go right to this slide, which says X marks the spot. Y'all still with me? X marks the spot. X marks the spot. What does that mean? When someone finds something they are looking for, this is the exact spot. Mark something with an X on target. This is prevalent in the Saw movies. They always say X marks the spot for the treasure. Who's the treasure? X marks the spot for the treasure. For the treasure. This is going to come to life for you. When you see mostly anything that's related to an X, it's related to superhuman power, right? Anything you see. We're going to go down here and insert this photo. Super genes. Y'all see this here? Super genes. The X gene is complex to test for, but it is believed to be in mutants per scientists. But God has placed a special gene amongst his chosen people. The X gene is believed to be in people who do or at some point will possess superpowers. They are also known as celestials. Again, the kingdom of darkness is always concerned about what's taking place in the kingdom of light. Scientists and the government have been kidnapping people of color for years, using cheek scrapings, hair, blood, etc., to test for the X gene. The X gene, the celestials, the super genes. Y'all need to know that. So in the media, you've got, and you can see this picture here with Lil Nas X riding in on the red horse as described in the book of Revelation. That's Lil Nas X right there. Y'all remember the Old Town Road that made him a celebrity pretty much overnight. You got X-Men. You see all of these different, you can see the Avatar blue up in there at the end of here. The gorilla looking beast over here. You got the scissor hands that you kind of saw within Jason and all of these other things. This symbolism is real. The red-haired woman over here. This is very real. They're again showing you, you will not know until you open your eyes. You got Wakanda. You know everybody dressed up with the black, the dashikis and everything like that. Wakanda forever. They will show you what does that make? That makes an X. And we're going to go down here and just go ahead and show you. And he has on a glove. He has on a glove. This is similar to the kind of glove that really, I think Beyonce wore to the Grammys as well. This stuff is real. They're telling you the cancel culture in itself. Going to the next slide. The cancel culture is an X. There's an X. You got triple X. And he's always throwing up the X troubled. Troubled because when you within that world, them spirits really get you. Troubled and died young. You got Xbox, baby. And if you look at triple X as well, you see that his hair was split between light and darkness too. That whole blonde and black trend, it's letting you know something. Split between light and darkness. It ain't just trends. These things are sending messages. Again, Xbox, in which is a controller to the people's mind. Then on top of that, you got DMX, okay? Now, DMX, his is pretty interesting because he has Exodus 1:7 that's across his neck and it's tattooed on his neck. And what Exodus 1:7 says is, and the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them. The inheritance, going back to Exodus, Kanye West at some point said, this is the Exodus. When he was going through his rant and rave and he was captured and pictured with Dave Chappelle and those 5 men during that time, he was like, this is the Exodus. This is the Exodus. He was having a whole beef talking about, people putting his daughter at risk and all of this other here stuff. This stuff they put in the media for a reason. The X is in your face kind of like more and more. Every single day we see Kanye over here. You have it on celebrity interviews. In the back of the interviews, you see the imagery of the triple X or the double X. the TV shows, etc. Y'all see that there, the Masked Singer. Got these marshmallow style head with the X and a smile, and it is always covered with a smile. That's why when y'all get on here and be like, you need to smile more. No, there's enough people smiling and deceiving you. No, what we gonna do is get the word. What we gonna do is figure out what's happening and reveal truth. And sometimes it's not a laughing matter, and that's okay. So Disney Plus. Disney Plus is also with an X in their logo too. So Disney Plus is also putting that right on the side. You see the Disney Plus and then the X at the very end. And it's just tilted to throw you off a little bit. Skull and Bones. Let's go with Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones is also known as the Order 322, or the Brotherhood of Death. What do we say that means? Meta means death. Now you got Skull and Bones. And Skull and Bones is an undergraduate senior secret society at Yale University in New Haven, Connecticut. Many political leaders have been initiated into the society, especially the presidents of the United States. Many of your past presidents, many of them have been inducted into that secret society. It is also one of the big three societies at Yale. The other two are Scroll and Key and Wolf's Head. So you just got to remember that these are all secret societies, things happening, Illuminati affiliation. Jesus dying on the cross forms an X. Look at that, triple X. Triple X. Y'all see that? Your crosses all over there. If you look at this from the side view, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. This is the Exodus. This is the Exodus. You'll be able to, this is the Exodus. When you say the crucifixion of Jesus, 3 X's, that's crazy. That is something else. So when it says this is the Exodus, the book of Exodus is the second book of the Bible, starting with the deliverance of Moses by Pharaoh's daughter. It recounts the revelation at the burning bush where he was called by God to deliver the Israelites from Egyptian slavery. The Egyptians served pagan gods. That was who they were. After Pharaoh rejected Moses and Aaron's demands, according to the book, God inflicted 10 plagues on Egypt. How many plagues were inflicted? 10 plagues was inflicted upon Egypt. So we're going to keep that number in our mind, resulting in the Exodus. The Mosaic covenant was made at the biblical Mount Sinai, and subsequently the tabernacle, with a dividing indwelling of God with Israel. So the Exodus is all about the chosen nation. The mask of the X, all of that and the above. We've already gone through that. So let's go through the X chromosomes as well. So women typically have 2 X chromosomes, and that's why do you think that black women are experimented on and have been for years? You know, black women were experimented on with no anesthesia, etc. Scientists have always believed that black women, that we possess a superpower and can take pain at the highest levels. It's no coincidence that many black women and their babies die while the mother is giving birth. They're typically used as lab rats for doctors and scientists. Aborted babies' body parts are often sold off as well. When God created woman, he took a rib from Adam and placed it inside of Eve, who would become the mother of all nations. She carries a special jewel. The woman carries a very special jewel. So that is very, very important for us to know. But just as they tried to X us out, God is going to use some of the same things to multiply times. The X also says times, to multiply your blessings. And you just look at that. I love how I found this picture and it says 23 times 14, right? And it equals 322. So the same codes and the numbers and things that they're trying to communicate with, God flips things. And this is a part of the flip. When you get your mind right, when you get enlightened to the things of God that he needs you to know, the flip is pending for you. That's the reverse of the curse. Yes, God reversed the curse in my life and allow me to be an active participant in that reversal of that, because I don't want to be going back to those old things. Again, we've got to be able to keep that in mind. So let's talk about national treasure, okay? X marks the spot of treasure. That was something that was in the Saw movies that we talked about earlier. Now, national treasure, we're going to get into this, and I want you all to really pay attention to this part. The national treasure is loaded with codes of the Illuminati, as well as the fact that the national treasure is God's people, and they are trying to find the map and clues to where we are in order to seize us, to be able to seize us for their own wealth. You get it? Us, to get us for their wealth. Like the movie Us, Our wealth is already within us. In the movie, they do seek to unlock a hidden treasure when they get to it. It is a vault of hidden gold. Melanin is said to be worth more than gold, people. Melanin, the melanated people. In the movie trailer, the grandfather says to the little boy, which is played, the character's name is Benjamin Franklin Gates. Let them names come. Benjamin Franklin Gates. There is a hidden treasure. It has moved throughout the ages and from country to country, just as slaves have been traded. The treasure was hidden by America's founding fathers, just as blacks were stripped of their wealth and hidden. Unbeknownst to these people, the wealth was never in our possession, but rather in what we possess inside of us, which is the Spirit of God. The knights in the movie formed into Freemasons or Illuminatis. These are British people. On a side note, why do you think that there is an influx of British actors and more black ones surfacing? There's a merge that's pending. There is a merge that's pending. So you want to be very aware of that. You want to stay woke on that subject. Now in the movie, Benjamin Franklin Gates is an American treasure hunter. Treasure hunter. He's a hunter. He's hunting for the treasure. And somebody says, oh, so you're like a treasure hunter. And he says, no, more like a treasure protector. Okay, because they let you know we're going to form and show that we're trying to protect you, but they're trying to gain the wealth. He's also a cryptologist like the present day cryptocurrency. Now, remember, this movie came out in 2006. He was famous for finding the Templar treasure. The map that leads to the treasure is invisible. It's the impartation of God. In the waking world, the invisible map that leads to the treasure is the impartation of God. The physical map would be the Bible. So boom, that's the cold crack. A lot of people who don't want to open up their Bible to see the parallel of what God has said, again, this is all conspiracy. No, it's prophecy. It's prophecy. And the Bible is a marker to really show you what's going on and what's happening nowadays. So if you've ever been in a secret society, you are familiar with the codes, keeping the secrets, etc. But the mysteries of the kingdom of God that he is revealing is for us and our children. It's time to be able to get your spot back in Christ. You're the treasure, and that's why you're being hunted. And you have to wake up. You're a treasure, but you must wake up in order to be able to see that. When you render your vessel to all manners of evil, you lose the birthright. You are losing the birthright. And that's sad. It's crazy because at the end of the day, these people are profiting off of you. I want to go down to as well. You keep seeing, especially with the noise around homosexuality, it's actually closely related to Homo Erectus. And you can see that on your screen now. Homo Erectus. It's relating back to the X gene. Who does this figure look like? Who that look like? I know that is. Look like my granddaddy to me. Looks just like him. So what is the Homo Erectus? It's thought to be the first humans on Earth and from Africa. They are thought to be extinct right now. Their unique traits include a flat face, prominent nose, and possibly sparse body hair coverage. When you hear Homo this and Homo that, they're actually pulling energy from the term Homo Erectus, all relating back to what? The gene, the chosen gene. So that's something for you to really understand. The things that you hear in the media about superheroes now being gay, the homosexuality and all of that other stuff. And you can see here the Superman and Robin and all of that other stuff. Now it's being pushed even upon the kids. Then you also have the beef between Lil Nas X, Lil Boosie, the things you see in the media. Oh, fictional character Michael Myers criticized for allegedly being homophobic due to the killing of gay characters in Halloween Kills. And this again, no homo or homophobic and all of this is all going back to Homo Erectus. Homosexuality is getting people accustomed to the acceptance of non-natural things to ultimately alter one's destiny and change human DNA. They do this so that the hunters don't get hunted in these last days by God's chosen people. So that's the thing. They've been hunting people out for years, and what they want to do is decrease you. Because if you notice in the Bible, what did God say to the nation of Israel? I will multiply you like the sand upon the seashore. We multiply. You ever heard that term? We don't die, we multiply. No, genuinely. A multiplication, the X, the multiplication. But at the same time, these people are trying to get you X'd out by take your spot by evoking the spirit of homosexuality even younger on people. That's unnatural. So it stops the birthing of what God would do. You don't have to like it, but it's what the word of God says. And you don't have to say, oh, Chris is this. No, I don't have a problem with a single soul on earth. We're just talking about life. We're just talking about the ordinance of God and what this is supposed to be like. Again, trying to take you out any way that they can get you. So ultimately, it's to alter one's destiny and change human DNA. Again, that's why I say don't get shot, or don't get shot, get injected for your spot. They do this so that the hunters, again, won't be hunted. They are pushing the mark of the beast in many different forms, so be aware. Used to hear of the RFID microchipping, but now it's coming in a different form. So you be aware of that. So what we need to do, what do we need to do right now? We need to talk future, okay? We're going to talk about 2022. What's the future? 22 is the code for the New World Order, and it's also abbreviated as the NWO. This is a one world government system that many of us might have grew up hearing about. It's here. It's here now, and it's being fastly and swiftly influxed into our society, eliminating sovereign nations and bringing them all under one authority. This includes the invasion of foreign militia, the introduction of martial law, and much more. This, again, is not a conspiracy. This is all prophecy and can be found in the book of Revelation. You can find all this in Revelation. The New World Order has already appeared and is strong in the financial sector. Cryptocurrency, okay, and we're going to go around there so you can see the cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency, you already saw the militia slide there. After the New World Order, we have the invasion of the foreign militia. You can see all them there. But it's very strong in the financial sector, especially with the cryptocurrency. It's hot right now, and it's going to continue to be because it's an institution where all money is going to be the same. Cryptocurrency sounds a lot like our next slide, which is kryptonite. Yeah, kryptonite, cryptocurrency, all of this stuff is working together. And you see that depending on how you read it. And these are all codes, 101 Dalmatian. This is all showed before your eyes. So now they've released a comic book stating that Superman and Robin are bi, right? Superman and Robin are bi. And that refers very strongly to buying power and things like Bitcoin. Okay, so just as when they coming up and saying things again, there's a message that's being gotten, and we have to be able to be aware of that. The name Robin is also related to Robin Hood and Robin Hood's logo. So it's very important to keep that in mind with that currency aspect. And the people of God has been robbed. The royal priesthood has been robbed for many, many years of the chosen nation. But now things are collapsing, and they're collapsing fast, especially with the inflation. So now what we're going to do is look at some flags. We're going to look at some things. The Zionists, and I believe we have it there. So Zionists, you have the EU, which is the European Union. Okay, that's comprised of 27 states, and then you have China. I want you to get a very good look at this flag, and these flags rather, because you're going to be seeing this much more often than you know. So Zionists, the common denominator between Zionists is that they have a claim to a land historically known as Palestine, but they are a political and a religious group. So you can do your research on Zionists, okay? The EU, or European Union. The European Union is a political and economic union of 27 members that are located primarily in Europe, or British, in the British territories. And then China, you guys are very familiar with China. These are going to be some of the groups popping up on your blocks right here in the States. Right here, these are some of the groups. They're merging powers to pop up and invade the land. So you really have to be just aware of that. In between, you do have a takeover that is pending. We do need to look more at what is happening globally, because pretty soon what is happening in Europe will affect you, and it already has been. So we're going to take a look at this photo from Us Weekly. Okay, now this is going to get good. Y'all buckle up for this one, because this is going to get really good. So we have a photo, right? So I was shopping and I saw this. It says, Us Weekly, the Queen's final days, fears as 95-year-old is hospitalized. Now this is power packed with just a whole bunch of symbolism and a lot of things that they want you to know. So just so you're aware, the cover with Alec Baldwin, he shot and killed the woman on set. I believe she was a director. So then he claims not to know that the gun or the assault rifle that he had was loaded. The title reads Haunted, which sounds a lot like hunted. Just read between the lines. It's hunting season, and they're putting it on the covers to let you know. Olivia pregnant and alone. Olivia is pregnant and alone, as a lot of other women will be, because many men will be kidnapped and hunted, especially the melanated men. And many men have a problem with Jesus Christ, you know, especially with black men. My book goes into depth about that, about the brainwashing and everything like that. So you want to check that out anyway. You got Queen Elizabeth, 95-year-old. She was born April 21st, 1926. Remember now, her husband, Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, was already, deceased. He passed away April 9, 2021. And then DMX died 1 week later. Just keep that in mind. If you recall, I did bring a message about chess, not chess. So like the Ark of the Covenant and the game of chess. I don't know if you guys remember that, but if you have not seen that video, you want to check that out. When it was saying like kill the king, the whole approach even in the game of chess is like to kill the royals, right? And all the pawns are used to keep the royal family safe. That's how it is in the Waking. Prince Philip was memorialized April 17, 2021, just 4 days before the Queen's birthday. Prince Harry attends, but his wife, Meghan Markle, a woman of color, does not attend. So as a backstory, Queen Elizabeth of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, she's the longest reigning monarch, as they would say, in British history. She is oftentimes seen with her spotted cloak. You know, she's oftentimes seen with her spotted coat. And, her gloves like Cruella and the rest of her royal regalia. Now, the U.S. Weekly has announced that the Queen's health is failing and that the palace may have been covering up truth about her health. So she was hospitalized recently. The palace has been preparing for her final days. If you look at what this says, it says, palace covered up truth about health crisis. Secret 10-day funeral code named London Bridge, right? So Operation London Bridge sounds a lot like London Bridge is falling down, if y'all would know that. Lauren London has been in the media, certain things like that. These are just markers to connect you. What it really is the secret code for the day when she dies. There will be a 10-day spectrum in between her death date. Her death date will be noted as D-Day, okay? D-Day. Every day between will be coded as D with the plus sign 1. So D1, D2, and D3 going on, etc. Coronavirus has been considered a part of the plans for preparation whenever the day comes when the Queen, is no longer here. They anticipate that the streets of London will become full for the first time. Now that sounds like the perfect time to collapse the London Bridge. Because y'all know the song, as a kid, said, London Bridge is falling down, falling down. There's a great fall pending. London Bridge is falling down. Okay, that's talking about the governmental system. Will be the perfect time for them to collapse the London Bridge or the Golden Gate Bridge. Okay, so it's all rituals and ceremonies, and you want to be able to connect those things that's happening from what you've heard as a kid, from what you see all around you, because this is not just by happenstance. Downing Street raises concerns that it would face public rage and anger if it cannot lower the flags to half-mast within 10 minutes of activation, and may have to rely on an external contractor. Okay, talking about lowering the flags if something were to happen to the Queen within 10 minutes, right? This is crazy. So Downing Street, like Dow in the stock market. And this is saying London Bridge, the operation code, all of these connecting points that can just kind of go over your head if you're not careful, but it's here. So now we got the 10 days between her death and the funeral, and 10 minutes for all the flags to be lowered, or the people will go into uproar. I don't find that there's a coincidence there. Now it says one number 10 official warned the prime minister's team risk public anger if external contractor has to be called in and the flag can't be lowered quickly enough. We're waving flags if the flag can't be lowered quick enough, external people are going to have to come in. The invasion, okay, of the EU in America. If certain flags can't, if y'all can't get that together at a certain time, we going to have to call in a foreign, and everybody might be mad, but this is what's pending with the militia. They're giving you the codes right there, and it be in the stuff you see by the chips in the grocery store. They put it all in your face. Let me get them chips. Let me entertain myself with some food in saying that some people need to go on a fast so you can really hear from God and allow messages like this to really sink into your spirit. So we've got that. Again, there will be an uproar if an outsider has to come in. An outside nation is the hidden message that's there. It's an outside nation. So those are full details. These are the full details of Operation London Bridge and Operation Springtide, the plans for Charles' ascension to the throne. Now, Us Weekly also said at the very end, battle for the throne. Battle for the throne. William makes his move. So y'all know, I love to check out certain things and connect what's going on. So we're about to connect some real news to the industry and entertainment industry. Remember, Us Weekly said William has made his move like in a game of chess. And what do we have here? Look who we have here. None other than Mr. Rich Forever. Look who's dropping an album on December 10th. You guessed it. None other than William Leonard Roberts II, dressed like Queen Elizabeth II, a.k.a. Rick Ross. Now, y'all know Rick Ross from around the crib, Carol City. You want about 183rd. You be talking about the Booby Boys and all this other stuff. But let me tell you, just because a person got a black face don't mean they for the chosen nation of Israel, the things of God. I got to show you. He dressed in his royal regalia and she dressed in her royal regalia with what? The X. Bro, the X, and protecting the vision. In his mind, he's protecting the royal house. You can't make this up. I ain't put this ring on the man's finger. The royal regalia all sitting up on the side of him like this there with her stuff up there too, just like the queen. Listen, what? Now, how possibly? How is this possible? The ties, though. The Illuminati ties, the affiliation under a certain governance. The people, your favorite rappers, your favorite singers, this stuff. No, it ain't as easy as it seems. The perfect day to be a boss is the book, and this ain't no bash for nobody. I love to see people make it. But I also know a lot of times what it takes to make it. It takes sacrifices. It takes sacrificing the real human lives and people in order to be able to make it. That's what it is. So when Meghan Markle got into the royal family, that was the first leg into blacks in the royal house. Y'all saw that everybody up here, I just want to be a princess. I'm like, look at this. Look at that. You see Serena, you see Oprah, you see everybody. Look, man, we got black people in the royal house. Boy, y'all ain't know what was coming. So y'all knew after that, she got into the house. They had the big celebration. Now, Prince Harry and Meghan leave to live comfortably away from the racism faced within the royal palace. They come to America out in California, like the movie Coming to America. Now, allegedly, Tyler Perry makes sure that they are comfortable, and Oprah does an interview with Meghan asking, were you silent, Meghan, or were you silenced? And she sits. So, Meghan, were you silent or were you silenced? Sits. Baby, what that mask do? The mask silence you. So they pull that mask. I can't hear what you say. What you say? Silencing people. This is crazy. This is crazy. I can't make this. So y'all see Rick Ross, biggest boss that you've seen thus far. And what it say? Richer than I ever been. Richer than I ever been. Oh, okay. Now, excuse me if y'all get, offended by the word, but I don't have no need to cover this up. It's written here. Kanye had a song called Niggas in Paris, indicating the black takeover. Now, this was off of Yeezy and Hov's Watch the Throne album, right? This is a studio album, 12 songs for the 12 tribes. Now, I want you to look at this visual. This gold album cover looks like royal regalia to me. It looks like royal regalia. If you look around the neck of Kanye West, don't this look like the EU flag? Don't that look like with them stars, the EU flag? This don't look nothing like no American flag up there around your neck with this circle. Niggas in Paris. That's what it is. Now, do you think it's any coincidence? Because I'm going to take you to this next slide. All in the EU or the European Union. You got 21 Savage who had to stay in the UK because that was actually the place of his birth. Now, to many of us, that was a loop. Hold up. Ain't 21 from Atlanta? Don't he be in ATL? Don't he? But you ain't know. He was actually born. No, he was born in the UK. So when he got stuck over there, it was for a reason. Whole passport situation. You never got this. You never got that done. The EU, the Zionists, pay attention because it's going to all come together soon for you. ASAP Rocky had a situation over in Paris. And then he got this thing going on here talking about ASAP Rocky, Paris. Then you saw Lil Baby the rapper, the NBA player James Harden had a situation out that way as well. And I think Lil Baby was the one that was in prison while out there. Now, what is he wearing? He's got his orange on, you know, the black, the black and the black and the white and the red, that be indicating rituals and ceremonies, just so y'all know color coding. And then when he has his orange, that nuclear warfare. They putting markers on stuff. They're putting markers on stuff. It's like, and then I want you to, this is a quick little insert, right? So Rock Nation, the dynasty sign, right? This dynasty, the dynasty, the whole dynasty that people put up and all this other here stuff. No, that's purposeful. That's purposeful. And it's beyond Delta 1913, a whole dynasty sign or pyramid. But all of this stuff has Illuminati ties that you must see. Rock Nation. We're going to go to this slide, okay? The slide reads, Psalm 62. He alone is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress. I will not be shaken. My salvation and my honor depend on God. He is my mighty rock, my refuge. Low-born men are but a breath. The high-born are but a lie. Read that again. If weighed on a balance, that means a scale, because y'all be seeing a balanced scale with the judicial system, right? If weighed on a balance, they are nothing. Together, they are only a breath. Boom. Says Matthew 7:24-29 says Jesus, the rock of our salvation. Rock Nation, Hova, Jehovah, Jehovah. Y'all don't see this stuff? The God complex, the takeover. I just wanted to insert that to you because remember, originally with the whole niggas in Paris, that came from Rock Nation. Rock Nation. Now we gonna go down and make some things else make sense to you. Diamonds are forever. Now we get to this slide or whatever with Kanye West. Diamonds from Sierra Leone. That was the name of that song. And it says diamonds are forever. It got a little beat to it. Forever, ever. Okay, it was a bop then. But there were so many hidden codes within that. And you really have to understand. So the song says diamonds are forever. He was signed to Rock Nation when he did make that song. The clip shows scenes of wealthy Europeans. Who was in the scene? Wealthy Europeans, okay? Shopping for jewelry while African children labor in mines to provide them with diamonds. It closes with the message, please purchase conflict-free diamonds. Conflict-free diamonds are also known as blood diamonds. In the video, it says, we are the children of the blood diamonds, and it's showcased inside of there. Now, I want to progress you on so you can see what's happening in present day, because this was a little while back when he released Diamonds from Sierra Leone. So now you have the blood diamond, the trade-off, right? And this slide reads, Beyonce is the first black woman to ever wear the iconic 128.54 carat yellow Tiffany diamond. It has been worn only by 3 others, including Lady Gaga. So that would make her the 4th person to wear it, right? And she's the first black woman. Keep that in mind. Fast forward, you have her as the first black woman to do that. And you have this, you know, this diamond. That's a blood diamond, though. Number 4, 4th person. And the first black woman, but she's the 4th person to wear this. Okay, we see where you're going in. So this is the introduction, and I want to show you this. Boom, the new royals. The black family, the first black family, the real first black family is trying to go ahead and show themselves forth as that. Now, if you look at this symbolism with it, you have, you know, king and queen. Beyonce and Jay, they've gotten you accustomed to calling Queen B. Queen B, they've got you accustomed to calling that. You got Jay-Z and Beyonce as the new black royals alongside, with whoever's in their cohort. Ross ain't far. He around there. He in the team and the family too. They've been telling you this forever. They were both on the Tiffany cover, meaning Jay-Z and Beyonce. Now we're gonna get into that that little spread and what they did. Now, many of you, this might have went over your head if you haven't seen this before, but this is Michael Basquiat mural on the Tiffany ad, the crown, the 10, the eyes. Now, this is going to be very intense to show you. Most people probably never even seen Michael Basquiat. Like, that's the truth, Jean-Michel Basquiat, but he is very, very much so world-renowned. I mean, he's done so much artistically, but we're going to break this down. You see Jay-Z, Beyonce, the queen is standing, right? The queen is standing. He's sitting on the throne. Watch the throne. He's sitting on the throne. Then you got this mural by Basquiat. Okay, let's get into it. Jean-Michel Basquiat is a world-renowned artist from Brooklyn, New York, like Jay-Z. He is born in December, like Jay-Z, and allegedly dies from drug overdose on 8/12/88. All forms of infinity up in that code right there. Basquiat's art focused on wealth versus poverty, integration versus segregation, and inner versus outer experience, right? So these are all the recurring or archetypal themes that are through his murals and through his art. All of Basquiat's work, they do showcase the crown, indicating the kingship, for the people of color and that people of color come from. Basquiat spoke Spanish, French, and English and was of Haitian and Puerto Rican descent. He was known as a neo-expressionist painter, best known for his collaboration with Andy Warhol. He was said to have dated Madonna, and clearly he heard from the dark world and communicated esoterically in his paintings. His paintings sold for over $100 million. I can't even count that far. $100 million, this man. His paintings sold for over $100 million. His paintings alone. So when Basquiat was younger, he was rumored to be locked away in a white gallerist, Anina Nosse's basement, having him create masterpieces out of nowhere to accompany the famous artwork, Oh Christ. That was the name of that artwork. It was done by Ravel Bolero. Basquiat suffered with severe depression. He communicated with the dark world and was thought to have a beautiful mind and great artistic expression. So like the movie Get Out, you could see where somebody might have wanted his eyes, right? I want your eyes, man. I want that in which you possess. I want to see that. The question is, are you willing to go to these dark spaces in order to get it? Now let's talk about and breaking down this actual photo. The crown. You can look at the hair, the locks. I break down a lot of that within my book as well. So the number 10, this is a recurring theme. I can't make this up. I don't put this in these people publication. 10, just like the 10 times Jacob's wages was changed while working for Laban, representing the inheritance of Israel. The eyes, remember the eyes are the window to the soul. They wear this glasses not as a fashion statement, but they are protecting the vision set forth. And you saw as well, what was Rick Ross doing? Protecting the eyesight. Showing the allegiance, protecting the eyesight. So the glasses are shaped like the infinity symbol. If you look at them, all glasses, circular usually. All black faces are not under the authority of Christ. Just know that. There is a mask that's also within here. If you look down near the tail end of Beyonce's dress, you have the mask that is typically in there. You have the mask. In here you see you see a lot of alchemy, like the alchemy references there. You also see satanic symbolisms within the portrait. It's packed with codes. It's packed with codes. King, knowledge of the cone. Knowledge of the cone deals with the alchemy and everything like that. The incantations, when you see words written multiple times, you see the number 25. There is so much in there. You see Amorite. Come on, the eyes. You constantly see eyes in there. There's a lot that's coded within this message. Now, let me show you Jay-Z and Basquiat side by side. You can see where Jay-Z channels his energy from. The black is king is portrayed right here. So it shows you, see, all of these codes, they're communicating esoterically about these things. Again, these are two black men from the same place who achieved a high level of wealth and notoriety within their time frame. Also, to put within there, and I don't know if I put that in another slide, Jay-Z was recently inducted into the Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he's one of the only living to ever have accomplished such a thing. So this goes to let you know the status and thing of that nature that's happening. So right here, we're going to switch to the slide that has Queen Elizabeth and then Jay-Z and Beyonce. Now, if you look at Queen Elizabeth's royal kind of garments, what do you see? What do you see? Beyonce has the iconic blood diamond on her back, while the Queen has the same style diamond on her royal garments that's in her front. It's indicative of the backs of blacks. And now, you know, the countries and the nations have been built off of the backs of blacks. That's really what it's coming down to. Elites want their inheritance back, even if they have to get it back in blood. Even so, if blacks were made to get these blood diamonds, which, you know, was a result of civil wars and people dying and all of these other here stuff and inhumane treatment of kids and all of this other here stuff, that's what the concept blood diamonds or conflict diamonds come from. But now it's on my back. It's on my back because off of my back that we have to work to get this. So that's why they're showing you symbolism. You have to pay attention to that. So we have the Black is King visuals all relate back to ancestry, the lineage of kingship. One of the resounding statements is, do you even know who you are? They ask that and they say that's why they feel as if they're giving the gift back. They feel like they're giving the gift. We're showing you that blacks are really royals. We're showing you of the lineage and the inheritance in which we come from. But again, you have to watch the authority that somebody is under. Again, everybody is not driven by the same force as you. Just because it has a black face don't mean it's of Christ. Just because it means that somebody look like you and they're telling you something is good does not mean it's good. It's called deception. So be very, very familiar with that. Now, the Black is King soundtrack talks about Jay-Z being like Mansa Musa, the richest black king to ever live. In the world, he was from Mali, which is a place in Africa. He possessed endless gold. That's like, you know, in the National Treasure movie. When they got to the vault, when they finally got to the vault, it was possessing of endless gold. Who was Mansa Musa? He's said to be a black emperor who was the richest ever in the world. Jay-Z talks about him being the same way. Now remember, Rick Ross' album says it's going to be released, December 10th, and he's richer than I've ever been. This all relates to the takeover of the throne and the rise of a new king. So the one thing that I want you guys to evaluate is something like through a song, because this was a really big song when it came out, The Black Parade by Beyonce. So we're going to go through this together and we're going to break some stuff down as we go. So here are the song lyrics. It's not just meant to be a bop, but rather a marker and a prelude to what's taking place. So here we go. I'm going back to the South. I'm going back, where my roots ain't watered down. Where's she from? Houston, Texas. What did the big tragedy just happen? Houston, Texas. Okay, cool. Growing like a Balboa tree. So that tree in Black is King, there's also a depiction of her being seated in a tree, almost like in a serpent-like manner. You can see how snakes do wrap in a tree and different things like that. Of life on fertile ground, ancestors put me on game. Ankh charm on gold chains with my Oshun energy. So this is all going back to ancestry, pagan worship, Oshun, which is known as a water spirit, a goddess of the sea, of fertility, and all of this other here stuff. My Oshun energy, the conjuring up of various water spirits and energy. Black Parade, though. What has gotten you to this point of authority? They're telling you their source. We can't lie because the music is telling us what is coming from. This is not it's not that deep. They're telling you. It says, drip all on me. Woo, Ankara Daishiki print. Hold up, don't I smell like Satia, Nakshampa incense? So this is all things that they use within their witchcraft practices, within their dark world of practices. Because we know that we've seen frankincense, myrrh, and different things like that in the Bible, but you have to understand what these people were using it for. Not that incense or anything like that just by themselves are satanic, but you have to understand the energy they infuse certain things with in order to get a certain result. Okay, yeah, pure ice, bust down. So at the same time, what does she just have? She said, follow my parade, black parade, right? She's now parading around a blood diamond that's 128.54 carat, only the fourth to ever wear. 3 white women, she's the first black. Putting it on there. Tiffany. Now that was known that Tiffany diamond is said to have come from the Kimberley miners. And this is somewhere that's in Africa. So this actual stone was bought in Africa. And it's known to be a blood diamond because, again, this is all around the conflict of that. But now you got it back. I got it back. I got it back. It's on my back. I put that on my back. We know that term, right? All right, we're going to keep going. It says flooded, flooded, flooded on my wrist. Flooded. It's a flood coming to this earth, y'all. There's a flood coming to this earth, whether you know it. Going up, motherland, motherland drip on me. Telling you the places where they're getting the wealth from, the quote unquote motherland, the place where all these diamonds are being taken from and at the hands and at the cost of blacks and mining these things and being slaves in their own lands and things of that nature. This is what the song is breaking down. Melanin, melanin, my drip is skin deep. Melanin worth more than gold. Remember, we've already talked about that. Motherland, 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 motherland drip on me. Incantations. When you say stuff that many times, incantations. Now, it says, Iya. I can't forget my history is her story. So yeah, when you talk about that, you would just think it's a sound. But I was like, let me see what's up with this Iya. So it means in Yoruba, it means wages. It means wages, like the wages that was worked for, his wages was changed 10 times. Jacob's livestock was indicative of the wages and his repayment from his unjust treatment. Follow. You'll hear a song and you just be, some things I understand. I make noises with the song because it sounds like that's what they were saying or whatever, but that's not. Being black, maybe that's the reason why they always mad. Yeah, they always mad. Been past them. I know that's the reason that they all big mad and they always have been. Follow my parade, oh black parade. They're telling you, we about to parade around. Watch the throne, coming for the throne. This has been years on years on years of telling you what is happening. So this is just something that we need to be aware of. Let's go ahead and look kind of at a deeper version of that. There's going to be a deeper, kind of, I guess, meaning to things later on when you begin to see the bloodshed, because the bloodshed that will happen in this earth, not just from blood diamonds and that stuff is very real, but the bloodshed is going to bring a fear factor onto people. And I want you to understand, it says in Luke 21:26, and we got this slide up, men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. It just lets you know that fear alone is going to have some people dead. It says, the Bible even talks about that fear alone is going to cause some people to drop dead. So as you see this, you have to make the connection in your mind right now. Look at these things, not just as predictive program, the apocalypse, the movie and all of this stuff. They're telling you people running to their bunks, doing certain things. This is where it's going. Again, we talked about that fear alone. And I also had, shared that with you. Fear is an enemy to faith, and those who do not have faith will not survive these last hours. There are going to be many people, who have Popeyes. If you look at this slide, which says fear is an enemy to faith, this man's eyes in Get Out was always popped. It was always stretched. It was always open. Now, one of the crazy things is that, to me, there is no coincidence, and I'm going to take you to this next slide, Popeye's chicken sandwich craze. Right after that Popeye's chicken sandwich craze, people's eyes were popped in fear after the pandemic. The pandemic just did not happen. This was planned out. This was planned out by the government. It was totally planned out. And was it real? Did people die? Yes, that was the plan too. There was rituals and sacrifice that needed to be done. So when you come over here and you parallel pop eyes to the guy, popped eyes, nah, you see that right before you. You see that. And then if you come on down, you can see that it's not ironic to me, but listeria, which is a deadly food poison, that can be found in various foods, that also has the same symptoms and effects as COVID-19, quote unquote, had. Let's be real. Everybody knows that Black people do love chicken. Anytime I do see people running toward a craze, I tend to step away from it. And I'm not going to lie, I used to eat Popeyes back in the day. But at the same time, I saw all these influx of people, and I've never tasted Popeyes chicken sandwich. I was like, I ain't going out there. It's more to it. There is more to it. And with the whole listeria, you look up the word listeria, see about that, see the symptoms, see all of these things, the cold sweats, the this, that, and the third. All of this stuff was the same. And nowadays, I wouldn't eat Popeyes if they paid me to. It's certain things that they just put everywhere. They put certain things in salads. The only way that we're going to survive is by the Spirit of Christ. That's the only way. That is the only way. So they say the proof is in the pudding, but I want to show you side by side that the proof is also in the name. Pop eyes, pop eye. Like, this is serious. And around that time, I'm going to move to this Beetlejuice and the Joker kind of slide here. Around that time, the Joker was very big. The Joker was trending around this time because this was all a joke, a hoax, if you will. It was a joke to the elites to see people suffer. It really was. This didn't, happen just by chance. This didn't happen by chance. So if I go around to the Simpsons episode, you can see that that's how this has been strategically planned and forecast even through the Simpsons episode. This is in 1993. 1993, season 4, fourth quarter. All of these things happening. See, these codes, episode 21. Come on, bro. You think that that's a coincidence? No. This has been planned out from a 1993 episode in which the characters deal with an outbreak of Osaka flu, or however you say that. That's crazy. That is crazy. So we're going to move on to what would be happening 2022. Let's move on to 2022. Now, again, not into zodiacs, but the vast majority of the world works off of it. And God has been revealing how they have been using this universal energy and what they're levying against people. So 2022, the Chinese horoscope is the year of the tiger. Tiger King Don Lewis. Okay, let's get into that. Why do you think they're publicizing, this Tiger King? Not to mention he's wearing blue sequin, right? Blue sequin. Now, you could have been wearing any type of tiger stuff to match your tiger, but the one that they put and publicize on these search engines always deal with blue, as I told you. Once again, he went missing. You got to wake up, people. He was a hunter that was hunted. This is how things are going. They tell you it's hunting season and you get shot, whatever, however you take that. And then Jesus says this. You got stripes. Okay, let's go to this side. Stripes represent Jacob's inheritance. And then you see Esau is out hunting. Meanwhile, Jacob is harvesting. It's hunting and harvest season as well. So you just got to be fully aware of that. And you see that tiger that is down there. It's the tiger, the year of the tiger, 2022. So then I've got here, Jesus said, by my stripes you are healed. Who else do you know have taken stripes on their back? It's many blacks. Many blacks have taken stripes on their back as a result of slavery and oppression. You got to understand that. Jesus said you will suffer as I have suffered. Those who hate me will also hate you. You see the stripes on the back of the slave. It's something serious out here. So just understand, if the world hates you, keep in mind they hated me first. That's on the slide, John 15 and 18. Peter 3 and 14. But even if you should suffer for the sake of righteousness, you are blessed. And do not fear their intimidation and do not be troubled. I love that. Peter 3 and 14. If you don't write down anything from this whole message, but even if you should suffer for the sake of righteousness, because there are some righteous people who are suffering, who will suffer, you are blessed. Do not fear their intimidation and do not be troubled. Some people have been intimidating you to go along with what they want you to go along with. No. Even if you are intimidated by all of those things, no. You're considered blessed by God. You're considered blessed. Do not fear and don't be troubled. 1 Peter 5 and 10. After you have suffered for a little while, the God of all grace, who called you to his eternal glory in Christ, will himself perfect, confirm, strengthen, and establish you. That's the promise. That's your promise. 1 Peter 5:10. So you look at that. And we're going to go into young children are being programmed. Your children are watching Disney and Marvel films. And there is no marvel that Satan is transformed into an angel of light. And that is according to 2 Corinthians 11:14. So what appears to be a smiling, harmless character can actually be a silent killer. And as I go down here, Satan is transformed into an angel of light. You see that clown from It? You see that clown from It? Come on, you ain't crazy. For example, we're going to go down to Mickey Mouse now. Mickey Mouse, the Magic Kingdom. The Magic Kingdom. That's where the magic happens. There's a lot of magic and witchcraft and sorcery they be doing. For example, Mickey Mouse is dressed in black and white with a splash of red symbolizing his Illuminati affiliations. Mickey's ears symbolize the Baphomet horns, but are worn proudly by families worldwide, right? So I've had several pair of Mickey ears. You go to grad night, you go to graduation, you pick up your Mickey ears and all those things. Most people have blindly participated, but you didn't know. You stamping the allegiance right on top of your head. You ain't even know, oh, that's cute. Let me pick this up. It's certain things that we may pick up and put our hand in, and we put our hand in witchcraft, we put our hand in magic and call it fashion, and we don't know because we're deceived. But when we know better, we can do better. So as we speak of trends, I want to turn your attention to what's trending right now on TikTok, because there's a hidden code even behind the name TikTok. Time is running out. There's a nuclear warfare getting ready to happen. A lot is going to go up in smoke, but before there will be a great flood that hits the earth. So you can't stop the rain, neither can you stop the bloodshed. Let's break down the meaning of what's trending, which is you can't stop the rain. It says, the show BMF featured on Stars the character Lamar violently and fatally stabbed Slick after his bestie disagreed with his vengeful plan to hurt the Flanoris. Hope I'm saying that right. Lamar eerily sang the Loose Ends tune first, then knifed and killed Slick as he attempted to get away from him. Now let's take a look at the lyrics from the very song Loose Ends. So we're going to look at the Loose Ends song, right? And this says this. It says, seems to me a little bit of fantasy, walking blind. If I get some time to search beyond, there's no bell to ring. Oh, there will come a day when the lightning will crash, and maybe then we'll see everything we've known all gone in a flash. Everything we've ever known, gone. What did the Bible say? In the twinkling of an eye. In the twinkling of an eye. And they telling you this in the song too. Is this our destiny? Question mark. Is this our destiny to see everything we've known gone in a flash? Is this our destiny? If you were Satan, that's your destiny. You can't stop the rain. You can't stop the rain. When it starts to fall, there's no one else to blame. There's no one else to blame. Yeah, you can't lock that door. What? There's going to be a sudden catastrophe, people. You will not be able to escape. You won't be able to escape, especially without Christ. You will not be able to escape. And this an incantation, because that song in itself, when you look up the trend, you can't stop the rain and what people are doing, and they're mimicking certain things like that. God gave me a divine impartation of that, of some things related directly to that. This is a British actor. I want you to understand, this is a British actor, but he's mimicking the likes of a real gangster from, New Jersey? A British black actor. The EU coming into the United States. You see? Let's go ahead. In an interview, the actor says this: I don't watch the show because the performance is not mine anymore. It's for others to consume now. I don't watch the show. It's not mine anymore. I had to take on a demon, but it's not mine anymore. It's yours to consume now. Coding telling you, Kofi Abrifa divulges. Plus, I don't want to watch it and say, I should have done that or this. You know what I mean? So when I saw that guy doing his hands like that, it took me a minute to realize what I did with my fingers like it was raining. It took him a while to interpret because he was under a spirit when he performed the whole act. People go into a trance in order. The MK Ultra is real. Some of the best actors, your famous families that's in the media right now. Yeah, the Smiths and everybody else. These people go to the MK Ultra Center. They believe in science. They believe in the metaphysical and all of these other worlds, and they begin to get programmed. You can't stop the rain. And he says, like it was raining. I was like, what is he doing with his hands? Because I didn't even know. It's creepy but flattering. And I feel like if I ask people to stop with the videos and DMs, they'll do it even more. You can't stop. You can't stop the rain. Neither are you going to be able to stop the bloodshed. You see that on your screen. We went ahead and gave that song a whole new meaning. I can't say what dark place I went to for that scene. I was just in the moment and in character. And it's just what happened. When you're under spirits, you don't know what's fully going on because you're not in charge of your own being. Did you know that? You're driven by a spirit. You don't know what place you go to. You see the end product and you be marveled at what took place because you didn't know. Something had your mind. So anyhow, it says, this is clearly a spirit that was invoked through these actors. Many actors and artists talk about the spirits taking over them. You remember that time when Chris Brown said that time aliens took over me, invaded my body? Demons. Not aliens, demons. This stuff is serious. This is a serious time and we must stop allowing demonic forces to entertain us. And I want to give you, this dream just a few days ago. And God has been dealing with me for years about floods and different catastrophes that will be pending for the earth. And I would always pray against certain things, but certain things are bound to happen. The iniquities have been stored up for so many years that certain things are bound to happen. So just recently, a few nights ago, I had a dream where there was a flood hitting the earth, a major flood that was going to wipe out people. What happened is that this man is driving. He had already evoked a fast in my dream. And so out of everybody that was, on the roadways trying to get out, and he was, making strides to get out of everybody, God saved one prophet in the land from the fast that he had evoked. That's real. That's serious. God is not saving everybody in this hour. God is not saving just because you, quote unquote, washed with the blood. You have a role. You have a role, and this is serious. You got a role to wake up, wake your eyes, get yourself up. You have a role in this season. You can no longer say, I didn't know. No, the Bible is explicit when it says thou art inexcusable. That means that ain't gonna be no excuse anymore. And I love how Matthew 24:27 says, for as the lightning comes from the east and shines as far as the west, so will the coming of the Son of Man. So will be the coming of the Son of Man. You ain't even gonna know how it's coming. And when the rain of God begins to pour and fall on his people, they can't stop the rain. They can't stop the rain and the showering of God's glory either. So that's the upside to it. But the bloodshed, the fear that's going to grip people, that's going to have people in such a stuck space. It's very real. And I want to go ahead and put on this last kind of going to one of the last slides, this sunken place, this very sunken place. Revelation talks about, many very different things. And also you got the imagery here from Black is King in the middle. And then you got this sunken place of get out where this guy is. I want you to take a look at that. Revelation talks about famine and many other things pending by way of prophecy. With that being said, a lot of things are changing on social media. I do advise you to download this video. Download this video if you have the capacity to download that. This video and many other videos that might help you prepare for what's to come. I'm covered, and I'm not going to be conforming to that augmented reality that they're pushing on people. Just understand, this stuff is serious. The elites are trying to get your minds and take you into a sunken place. They will project emotions on you and ultimately open you up to a portal of demons. That's what's pending. And us, the people, look like them. They're going to use these avatars to come and attack you, to allow fear to grip you so much in a world that you and your eyeglasses or your Oculus or whatever you're going to be using, they're going to allow fear to grip you so heavily through that eye gate, through your eyesight. This is what's pending. At first, you're going to feel like you're floating in midair until there's a great fall upon you. It's in the movies, the videos, and everything. So again, don't get shot, whether that's in the vein or in your head. Don't get shot. Do not get shot for your spot. And if you have gotten shot, you sure need to pick up that book to be able to reverse the curse, because there is death pending, a mass assassination, masked murderers, masked behind government official, masked behind black people, masked behind people that seem to be so charismatic, but they want to box you in. These people want to rope you off and take the life up out of you. This is a serious time, folks. So again, this is supposed to be hunting and harvest season. And depending on where you fall at is going to determine whether you're hunted or whether you'll be harvesting the things of God in this season. Just to let you know, you can see symbolism, in the movie Get Out. And some of you all need to get out of the churches that are not teaching you about the real things of God, that's not connecting real life for you so that the word of God can come alive to you. If you are under any type of witchcraft in this hour, this would be the moment to be able to get out. Some people are not teaching you about the spiritual realm. The spiritual realm is very important. It controls everything, and you're going to need a lot of knowledge about that if you're going to survive. You must get out to be able to build a relationship with God. And like I said, I'm not conforming. So if you do want to keep getting the messages from me, please be sure to go on my website, Chris Speaks, www.chrisspeaks.com. If you are on YouTube, please make sure that you have already followed me. When you go to my website, hit the subscribe button, because if everything shuts down on one platform, you can always be able to get me there. I am not conforming or going subject or putting some stuff on my eyes in order to be able to continue to feed y'all. God will provide and show a different way for his people. But time is of the essence. You want to prepare to start keeping up with me on various other platforms. Again, we're just preparing for a shift of all sorts. So we want to do our part in preparing. Much of what is falling upon us is because of the curses that are on our life. And if you do need tangibles as to what to do, you can purchase my book on the website. You can go to www.chrisspeaks.com. You can go to the shop logo or the label and be able to purchase your book there. It is dropping this fall 2021, so you can understand, if you liked and enjoyed the teaching here, the book is power packed and it's going to bless your soul. God is all throughout it. He's given me the approval on it, so we are excited. The book again will be in your hands this fall. Already said there's a great fall pending, revealing all truths, especially behind secret societies, things that's governing the world at large. And I would love to help you gain the impartation from God. So that's my time. I love you much. I pray you all enjoyed this. And if you got to stop, rewind, take it in sections, do what it is that you got to do. Nonetheless, get the word. Love you all much.